Karl, tell Steve what you just told me when Steve was in the toilet then.
Right, you know, I'd just been away with my mum and dad and that. And one of the things I always like doing is having a good chat with my dad about stuff he got up to when he was a kid and that.
Yeah.
Right, because he got up to loads of stuff, and every time I see him, he tells me something, and I think, it's like, why are you just telling me that now? It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I mean, to me, he's kind of like Ronnie Biggs or someone. He's just the most extraordinary kind of.
Well, this happened, right?
character.
I can't remember. There was a delay yesterday. There was problems on the Paddington line, and he was saying, "Oh, trains aren't what they used to be."
Sure.
He said, I was looking.
They used to be horses, didn't they?
Well, he was looking in the booklet, and it was saying, you can have your bags collected if you want, but it costs you £5.
Yeah.
So that's outrageous.
Sure, of course.
Right, so he said that's the problem with this country. We've got good with computers and that, but when it comes to, like, getting service, it's gone out the window.
Yeah.
Right? So he said, when I worked on the trains, and he was going on like this, that and the other, so I said, I didn't know you worked on the trains. He said, yeah, when I was 18, right, it was his job to get the coal, right, and chuck it in the engine. Right? And one day he's in Grand Central Station in Manchester, which is now the GMX Centre.
Right.
Right? And that was like the main station. And he was in there. The fella who should have been sort of driving the train, right? He said, I'm just nipping to the pub.
Sure.
So you just stay here, keep the engine topped up and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like,
For a quick getaway.
Yeah.
Right? So the fella goes in the pub, and my dad's in there, putting the coal on. He did his bacon and eggs on a little shovel.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, fella comes up. He says, "Right, can you move the train forward now?"
Oh, blimey.
So he was like, "Oh." So he didn't want to say, "Oh, the fella's in the pub," because he'd know he'd say, "What's he doing in the pub? He should be working, right?" So he said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll sort it out." Right. So he puts it into gear or whatever you do on them trains.
Sure,
right?
puts it into first, yeah.
Starts going forward. Now, people who don't know about trains, something that I learnt is if you're carrying a load of coal or whatever on the back of it, they don't have brakes on each carriage, right? It's only the engine that has brakes on it. So when you pull the brakes on the engine, the whole weight of what it's pulling is pushing you forward.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't realise this though, because he's just used to cooking bacon and eggs and chucking coal in.
Of course,
thing,
yeah.
right?
So you've got to slam the brakes on sooner than you would normally.
Yeah.
Well, you have to anticipate it, I suppose. Yeah.
But he didn't know that, so he's pulling in, he's thinking, right,
Well, he's
I'll put the brakes on now.
Yeah.
Right? Puts the brakes on, the train just keeps going, he's going, oh god, it's not stopping.
Sure.
It ploughs right through the signal box. Right? Loads of damage.
Pulling the signals don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Loads of damage done. Apparently, if it was today's money, it'd be about £3 to £4 million worth of damage. It shut the station off for 4 weeks. But he didn't lose his job. The fella had lost his job, the one who was in the pub.
Yeah.
He said the funny thing was, he said like £4 million worth of damage. He did his ankle, his wrist in. He had 3 weeks off sick and got paid. So it's brilliant. So
I love your family.
It's extraordinary. The Pilkington gene.
Weird, isn't it?
I'd like to see a documentary following you and your family. You'd have to get the family involved.
No, the sort of stuff my dad goes on about. They'd never put it on telly.
Can't stop growing.
Placebo. This picture on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
Right.
So you've been educated there, haven't you? The Trojan horse.
Yeah.
The Trojan horse. And that's of course where the phrase, beware Greeks bearing gifts, comes from.
Silence again.
Yeah. You ever heard that one?
Go on. What's that again?
Beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Right.
What do you think that means?
I don't know. I mean, what is that used worldwide or what? Will he say that in Greece as well, or? Because imagine Christmas Day is rubbish.
No, it doesn't actually mean beware of Greeks bearing gifts. It's more to do with, like, maybe it's too good to be true, or, it's the opposite to don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, that's probably where it came from as well.
Justin from Southend emailed in, he just said, For the Trojans not to have spotted that it was a trick, they must have been the biggest bunch of moronic, ever to have walked the earth. Does Karl have any Trojan in him by any chance?
Cheeky, innit?
Eh?
What?
Never mind. Well, I think that probably proves it.
I thought of another one I like as well. I was saying, you may as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
I don't think I've heard that. I have heard, but I don't think I've ever used it in common parlance.
Well, it's like, if you're going to do something, you know, you might as well go the whole hog, depending on the outcome. Because it's based on reality, that's why I like it. Because, obviously, the poor people used to poach, and if they were caught stealing, you know, a sheep or anything, they would be hung. So, if you're going to get caught, don't steal a lamb, you know, at least feed your family for a few weeks.
Right, sure.
Kill a sheep.
Yeah.
Actually hung for killing a sheep.
Oh. Your dad would be in trouble, down in Wales, stealing stuff from that, from that phone box.
Well, he has a couple of sayings, right?
Your father?
Yeah, I've never asked him what they mean.
Why would you? Ask Suzanne.
One is, don't try and teach your granny to suck eggs.
Yeah.
What
Well,
does that mean?
That means, it's patronising to, of course I know that. You're talking to someone who knows more about this subject than you.
But how did that happen then? How did that saying come about?
Well, it's not. It's a totally made up thing. It's like, your granny sucks eggs, doesn't she? Because she's older than you, and it's probably a lost art or something.
Alright. And the other one,
Sucks eggs?
Sucks
Yeah.
eggs, yeah.
Sucks eggs, sorry, I thought you said something else.
Don't nudge your granny when she's shaving.
What?
Sorry?
Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving.
Don't nudge your... Sorry, say
Well,
that
that's
slower, I can't...
Don't nudge
nudge your granny when she's having a shave.
Well, what is that in context? Because I can't work out what the analogy is there, because that might just be you when you were little, you used to run up to your granny while she was shaving or something.
But why is your granny shaving?
Well, no, what context is that said in? Tell me the last time your dad ever said that, and I'll try and work out what it means.
Can't remember. I don't
Are
know.
you sure these aren't specific to your granny?
Yeah, I was to say, were you nudging your granny? She was going, get lost, Karl.
She was shaving off her moustache.
Or giving herself a Brazilian.
That's grotesque. Suck an egg. Try and get that instead.
God. That's made it worse. Karl's granny sucking eggs. Whilst that is
herself a Brazilian. We've no idea. I don't know what that means. Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving. What,
Yeah.
Parmesan?
I don't know. Maybe someone knows. You might be right. Maybe.
Well,
it's a
email
song.
in. Tell us.
Yeah.
Cardigans. You're the Storm on XFM 104.9. Well, nearly the end of the show, but we wouldn't let them down, would we? You know what it is now, don't you? Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Alright. Now, whilst I was in Cornwall, I wasn't online. I didn't have the internet, so it was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I didn't come back till yesterday. And I thought there's loads going on that I don't know about in the monkey world and stuff. I was hoping to get some from the zoo that I was meant to be going to. Of course, that didn't happen. So I said to my dad, do you know anything about monkeys? Or have you got any stories with monkeys?
Brilliant. This is what Trevor McDonald does.
Turned out...
Quarter to 10, he goes, got nothing. Dad, anything happened? You got anything politics? Anything politics, Dad?
This isn't monkey news, I'm just giving you this free.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Turned out one of his mates used to have a chimp.
Right.
What do you mean one of his mates used to have a chimp?
Well, two of his mates. Mind you,
Oh,
one
sorry,
wasn't his
yeah,
mate, one wasn't his mate.
I was thinking it sounds a bit far-fetched living in Manchester, like. But if there was two of them...
He had a chimp, had to thump it in the head.
For doing what? Answering back?
Oh, God!
Tried it on with his wife.
Had to thump it in the head for trying it on with his wife! I love it. It's a proper fist fight in a pub in Manchester. Oh.
I'd call him up, but he's one of them who, like, swears all the time.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, it'd be good to get him on and
Let's interview him. Can we not interview him pre-record? We can bleep out the swear, and I'd love to hear his
do
story.
a lot of work, that.
Yeah, well, Well, we're not scared of work,
No,
are
I
we,
mean,
Steve?
I'll
You
get
know.
myself if you can't be bothered.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
I'll
so.
have a word, I'll sort it out.
Yeah, try and sort that out next
you
week.
sort that out, yeah.
Well, don't
yeah.
tell us the rest of the story then. Let's let him say it in his own
No,
words.
but there was another one as well. Some
When you
fella-
say you can get him on, but he swears a lot, you mean the monkey? I'm assuming he's more coherent than your dad's mate.
But there's him, and there's some other fella he knows who had a funny name. I'll have to find out, 'cause you'll love his name. But he was a drag artist.
Yeah.
And, I think he said my dad went round one day, I don't know why, right? Went around there, knocked on the door, chimpanzeed.
Carl, I don't know what you're doing, mate. I don't know where this place you live. Next door, there's an horse in the front room. There's chimps
Mad,
running round.
Mad. Anyway,
Chimpanzee!
Is that it? Is that the end of the story? There's a chimpanzee in the door and that's the end.
You sure it wasn't a drag artist before he shaved?
no.
Sure
no,
it wasn't your gran?
Because I like the really airy ones that decide they can be female impersonators. Yeah, your gran.
You and your father have probably come across this sort of dilemma in the past, and I'd be interested to know what your take is on it. Let me see, this is from Lee Matthews by the look of it. He says, he lives in a suburban area where the local teenagers also live on the same road, and they're running riot. They're smashing wing mirrors off the cars, they're crashing into parked cars on their skateboards, they're just generally making mayhem, you know, night and day. What can he do to stop this going on? The parents of the kids don't seem to give a damn. Anyone who complains to them, they just say, "I'll piss off." You know, the police are useless because they never catch them in the actual act of violence, which is what they got to do to apparently convict them. So they don't know who to turn to, really. It's rather like when a little old lady went and got the A-team, you know.
It's a, you know, and he was dressed as an elderly Chinaman.
Exactly.
She knew who he was. Colonel Decker didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
You see, it's weird, because now it has got out of hand. Do you know what I mean? Like, years ago when I was growing up on the estate, yeah, you had problems, but not like you have now. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Summers were nice as well, weren't they?
well, it did seem that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right, and...
Police are getting shorter and
But
younger.
you yourself kind of admitted in the past that you were something of a tearaway. You didn't do anything
but
like these
never-
kids
I
here,
mean, the
but...
thing is, I was scared that if I got caught doing it, my dad would go mad.
Yes.
And I remember smashing a car window by accident and legging it in the lounge and sort of pretending to go asleep on the settee.
Genius.
And I heard a knock at the door. and I
Chloroformed
thought-
himself, just to be unconscious when his dad came home.
And there was a knock on the door, and I thought, oh god, this is a fella who saw me. I was chucking a stone in the air, seeing how high I could throw it.
Of course you were. Did it keep landing on your head? That would explain a lot.
And it came down.
Chucking a stone in the air, love
To
it!
see how far I could
It's
throw it.
brilliant.
So, you know, I wasn't bothering anyone.
Did you
but-
invent that game?
Right,
Did you get the stone for your birthday? Go and play with your stone.
He gave one to Suzanne.
Karl, go and play with your stone.
The thing is, right, and it came down at a funny angle, and
Of course it did.
It ate the back of this car, and the back window is the most expensive because it has that heating thing in it.
Yeah.
In case you got a frosty window.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh god. So I legged it in, got on the settee, went to sleep, knocked at the door.
Genius. It's a brilliant plan. It's a brilliant plan. I couldn't be guilty. I'm asleep.
So
I love the idea.
So the thing is, our lounge used to sort of you could see in from the door, right? So this family who saw me do it saw me asleep on the settee, and my mum said, "Go and get the door," and I sort of went, "What?" as if I'd been asleep.
Yeah.
I went to the door, like rubbing my eyes, and the fella said, "What did you run off for? I saw you." I was like, "Oh no," and I didn't see my dad. I went out. It was when he was working sort of evenings, so I went out so I didn't have to see my dad. And then the next day I came home from school, and my dad said, 45 quid.
Ooh.
That's all he said.
That's all
when
he
he looked at me.
And then you fell asleep when he went, wake up. You know what I said? No, 45 quid.
Now the thing,
Carl.
he didn't have to do
£45,
anything.
Karl. Now, I know you were saving up for a brick, but you can't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like, I knew I did wrong, and I was scared that my dad was going to belt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll be more careful next time.
But that was clearly good parenting on the part of your father, because these young tykes, clearly they don't have the
what do you do?
the father
I
support.
don't
do
even.
they?
I don't know if
If you were living in that street, very quickly, what would you do? What would your approach be? If you were living in his street.
What if they'd come over and they just vandalised all your pebbles, right, that you'd been saving over the years, and just threw your gravel away? What would you do if they just...
I'd probably clout one of them.
So you'd use violence.
I think it's the only way sometimes.
Sometimes the only way.
And I don't mean, you know, really bad, but I'd show them that I'm not putting up with this.
Right.
And then the problem is you've got their family coming round and they're probably quite...
Go and sleep. If you hit a kid and the dad comes down, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just,
Equally, if you're doing a bigger crime, you know, a bank job or a murder...
Remember to take the stocking off your head, because if they wake you up and go, why have you got a stocking on your head? Just go, oh, I had a weird dream. It won't work. What do you mean? If Tony Blair came to you and he went, Karl, listen, I'm having a bit of trouble here. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I've tried spin. I've tried being tough. I've tried backing down. I've tried getting other countries involved. They don't want to know. What do I do? What do I do? You don't know?
Tricky one.
It's a tricky one, yeah.
I don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get in the bath, put a mattress on top of you. That's it.
Sorry, why are you doing that?
Ooh, slow down.
Why are you doing that?
That's what they say you do, isn't it? If it kicks off.
If what kicks off?
If there's a war and that, you get in the bath, put a mattress on top.
Right. Did they do that in the Second World War for 6 years?
Was that making bunk beds?
That's what I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Is the bath full of water?
No. That'd be daft.
Okay.
I think they were enamel baths then, though. I think they'd stop a bit of shrapnel. I think the plastic ones you get nowadays would probably melt on you. And the mattress, where your dad has cut it in half, all the foam would come out and the springs would get you in the eye.
Oh, talking about me dad. Steve, you'll love this, right?
Go on.
My dad hates being ripped off, right?
Yes, well, no, I can relate to that, that's important.
Hates coming to London now. He always wants me to go and see them rather than come here, because he just thinks London is like a big rip-off. Last time he came, he got annoyed because I bought him a scone and a cup of tea for like 3 of us, and it was £14, and he just was livid. And then we had an argument about that, and then we went to the Millennium Wheel, and I said, do you fancy going on this? He said, oh, alright. Then he saw the price, and it was something like 20 quid or something, and he said 20 quid to go up in the air to look at stuff that's on the ground. He said I might as well stay on the ground.
Brilliant.
Right? Thought, good point.
His logic is impeccable.
So anyway, this is going on. Anyway, he spoke to me the other day. I said, how are things? Are they alright? And that? He said, oh, being ripped off. I said, why? He said he ordered, do you know the place where he got a new bed from because he cut the other one in half? Of course, yeah. Right? He got this bed out of a catalogue. So he sorted out a payment on the phone. He said, look, you're ripping me off a bit here on the interest thing, but well, let's do a deal. We'll sort out a new monthly payment that's different to what it says in the catalogue. And he said, yeah, we'll go along with that. Anyway, so he sorted that out. He was happy. The bed arrived. It's a nice bed. He said, that's great. So anyway, he got the bill for it, and it was the original price.
Oh, I thought it might be the case, yeah.
Right? So he called up and said, I'm not happy with this. He said, we said a deal. And like, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He said, right, don't send me your catalogues anymore. He said, I'm not buying anything from you. You're a rip-off merchant. Right? So anyway, few weeks go by. Post comes. Only another catalogue in the post.
He's livid.
Right? So he was well annoyed.
Yeah.
So he looked on the back, and it said on it, this catalogue will always be property of, you know, the company that does it. So you can't throw it away. If we request to have it back, we've got the permission to get it back off you. Right? So he thought, right, well, they're out of order. I told them not to send me one, and they have done, and they're saying I can't chuck it away. So he called them up and said, alright, Mr. Pilkington here, bought a bed off you, you conned me, and that. But, you know, forget that. We've dealt with that. You've sent me a catalogue, I told you not to. It says on the back here that this will always be yours. Yeah? So, in a way, you're using my house as a warehouse. I'll be charging you 26 pence or something a day.
Brilliant.
He said, you already owe me £6.28. Something like that.
Genius.
And, yeah, sorted it out. So again, you know, it's...
So hang on, but are they going along with this?
I don't know what happened. He said they sounded annoyed and said they'd get back to him, and they haven't. But he said, I'm not bothered. They can take as long as they want because the money just keeps going up.
Yeah. So what sort of profit has he made so far?
Well, when I spoke to him in the week, it was like £6 odd. Yeah. I think that was on Tuesday. So he's you know, he's just leaving it. It's like an investment.
Yeah. It's like an antique. It's
just going up every day. So.
Well, keep us posted on that. That's dynamite. One day we need to speak to your father.
Yeah, I think so.
So many questions need to be asked of him.
In fact, I might sit and give you a letter to take home.
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Pilkington, your son Karl.
New single from Nick Cave. I think
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Steve?
Yes?
I think, Karl's gonna put most people to shame. We were talking about generosity earlier. Karl is a nice, generous bloke, wasn't it? when it really comes to it. He's paying for Father's Day. He's paying for the cottage that he's going away with his dad.
Are you really, Karl?
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's no way of us proving if that's true or not.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, you could be lying.
But why would I do that?
Well, because you want to show off.
I didn't do it on air, you mentioned it. I don't want people to know how generous I am. Just do it, just get on with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like charity work and that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I'd have thought that you wouldn't have fallen for Father's Day. I'd have thought you'd have known that it was like...
Well, we don't. I mean, to be honest, it's a bit of a coincidence, because I paid for it anyway, and it's happened to fall on Father's Day. Right?
But don't
and my
buy a
dad's
card.
not normally that bothered.
Don't fall for it. I mean, obviously that and Mother's Day and a plethora of other things were, I mean, literally invented by card companies to make more money.
I know.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, my dad always says don't get him a card or anything. Because he hates it, with all these things that I'd like, you know, rip-off times, really, just ripping people off.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit stingy, that.
Well, no, I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right, it's just, because fellas aren't bothered about getting cards anyway, are they? But the other thing that he noticed, you know, helping out the flower companies, the Princess Diana thing, when she...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Jesus Christ.
So when...
Karl, what do you mean? What do you mean?
That's what he said. He said, "Oh,
I nearly swore then because I was. You surprise me all the time.
No, I'm
but
just.
That is incredible.
Sorry, what? I don't understand. What are you talking
All
about?
the flowers that were sort of sold that day.
Right. What, for people to leave as a commemoration? Or
yeah, they made a mint, didn't they?
Who did?
Flower companies.
Right. So what are you
saying?
He was just saying, you know, makes you wonder.
What?
About what?
Whether it was in the floor or behind the hit.
Oh.
So it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy by the flower companies.
I would love to see you and your dad just sitting at home watching a bit of Channel 5 when apes go mental, right? With your roast dinner.
When's that on?
And then talk like, well, yeah, well, you know, kill Diana, don't you? The flower company's son. Right, quite right, Dad, you're not wrong. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not, you know, I'm just saying, it's like you were saying about the cards, you know, on Father's Day and that, it's just a bit,
too much of a coincidence. Too much of a coincidence.
I'd be interested to see sort of, you know, like the business graph.
Sure.
On how the companies were doing, then suddenly...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then by the same token, Elton John, you know, he had the biggest selling hit record, didn't he, off the back of that? I mean, so, is he incriminated as well?
If you want, I mean...
It's a conspiracy theory you've not kind of analysed terribly closely. You've put it out there, and if people maybe who are investigating want to kind of add that into their inquiries, then they can.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, no, that's all I'm saying. I'm just, you know... Because it's always the same thing, isn't it? Like, I was out shopping the other day, you know, treating Suzanne, like I do. You know, I like spending money and that.
Yeah.
I was in W.H. Smith's.
Yeah. Oh, classy. What was it? Was it a big birthday? Was it? Was it a 30th?
No, I was getting a.
Was it 2 biros for the price of 1?
I was getting a card for my dad for Father's Day anyway, because I'm seeing him.
Yeah.
Big Toblerone.
Yeah.
There was a giant
who is it who said Father's Day? They love a Toblerone.
I've never understood Toblerone because the only time I see Toblerone is in airports, right, and minibars. That is what the small Toblerone is for the minibar in a hotel, 3-star upwards, and the big Toblerone.
Well, it's the big Toblerone is a gift, isn't it? It can only be a gift. You wouldn't buy a big Toblerone for yourself.
Yeah, a duty-free gift. The Toblerone. It's next to you know, Chanel No. 5 Toblerone and a bear.
But it's who specifically would you be buying that Toblerone for?
I don't know.
Someone who's clearly never had it before and would think it was interesting novelty.
Yeah.
Well, this gift's interesting.
I'll tell you what, though, Toblerone is brilliant. I mean, if whoever makes that, if they want to send sort of, you know, some Toblerones, I mean, I will eat Toblerone.
Well, yeah. I think very much the same about, I think very much the same about fags.
And of course...
Just cigarettes. If you've got any boxes of cigarettes
and,
that you don't want, you know, duty-free or whatever, send them.
I'd just like to say that, in no way do I endorse Karl's dad's theory that flower companies were behind the death of Diana.
No.
Maybe I could say that on air as well. So these scientists, they're stuck away in the darkness, let's tell them what they've been missing. What's the highlights, Karl, of the last, Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington, by the way, XFM 104.9, etc. What have they missed for the last, just do the last few weeks. What have they missed? Remember, they haven't got newspapers, they haven't got telly. What's the... Look at him, he's looking at me like I just said that in Arabic. What do you understand? Think what's happened. Think what they haven't got that you know about. What have you seen and heard in the last couple of weeks that they couldn't have?
Well, like on the news and that, what's gone on in the world and that?
Yeah.
Well, or just things you've done personally. I think that'll be of less interest.
Yeah.
Pope's dead.
Okay.
I like it. Imagine that. Imagine if that was them breaking it to them.
Yeah.
Like they're listening and you go, what's happened? The Pope's dead. Well, don't say it like that. Break it to us gently, Karl.
Well, I think that's better than how they do it on the news normally, though, isn't it? They make a big deal out of it, and you panic a bit when it says breaking news, and you think, oh, there's a war on.
Yeah.
And you go, Pope's dead, and you go, well...
So you've just used that short, sharp tactic.
Yeah.
Like ripping a plaster off quickly.
I just said it softly, no, Pope's dead.
When you know all that coverage of the Pope with like those millions of people that had gathered in Rome and stuff. I was thinking about, you remember we talked about the Queen Mother, and they were queuing up to see the Pope.
Yeah, like 4 hours to get a glimpse.
And once again, I couldn't help but feel if they popped him on some kind of like dessert trolley and just wheeled him past everyone else, they could have got that done in about 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah.
You know, once again, people not thinking. They're not expanding their minds.
So logically.
What, like students and rag week with a bed down Oxford
Street? Those
Street?
novelty beds. They're all dressed in kind of cardinal's gear.
Yeah.
Just, trundling them off and down the, yes.
But it's the way they also said they've now got a new Pope. He's hardly new, is he? Why didn't they learn from the last one?
Sure.
Keep taking on old people.
Yeah.
My dad couldn't even get a gig in B&Q.
Oh God! So who have we offended? I mean, the thing is, it's like, because soon our offensiveness isn't going to be sort of like we're feeling guilty about offending someone. It's going to be like we're going to be living with Salman Rushdie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The things. I mean, that's pretty. Don't have a go at the Pope.
I'm not having a go at him. It's good that he can carry on working and what have you, but I thought everyone had to retire at like 60 or whatever. Oh, bloody hell. But, whatever, if you can get away with it.
Yeah, why couldn't your dad get a gig in B&Q? I mean, he goes there a lot, doesn't he? He goes there a lot!
That's why, if you're just joining us for this one-off show because you're trapped in a bunker somewhere in the Antarctic, you should know this of Karl's dad. He's a thief. He steals things, and we've openly discussed this before. He steals this from other elderly ladies and elderly people. Perhaps
he's not like Raffles, though. He doesn't go into their house.
He's not a gentleman thief.
No, don't people let's put this in context. He's not a villain, but sometimes when people leave groceries lying around in a public telephone box.
No, what it was, where they live now, they've retired, right? They've moved. I won't say where they are, but somewhere quiet, right? And it's so quiet.
It's not a witness relocation protection scheme.
Because there's only about 8 people live in this village, it's not worth, like, the corner shop.
There's only 8 people living in the village?
It's quiet.
The village of the damned.
So anyway, rather than keep the shop open, you're meant to call up and go, alright, Harry, I need some milk today.
Right.
And they stick it in a phone box outside in the shop, and my dad found that out. So when he's been out, just stop off at the phone box, have a look at what's left lying around.
Yeah. But of the 8, I mean, there's 8 people in the village, my attention would be instantly drawn to the dodgy Manc fella. I mean, you know what I mean? It seems, in Manchester you can probably get away with this, there's a lot of scum up there, but down in this little village, you got little Miss Marple type, and a little, country policeman.
He's stopped doing it now,
has he?
Stopped doing it, yeah.
Cleaned up his act.
Yeah.
Good, alright, so the Pope's dead, any other big news?
There was that thing I told you about last week, the foot-long spider eats chicken.
Going to my mum and dad's today. I'll cut to the chase, Rick. They basically, we got about 4 pages while they drive to his mum and dad's.
Oh,
but
Jesus
I'll skip
Christ.
past that because it takes fucking forever. Got there with mum and dad. His mum made him some dinner. The old woman next door, brackets, whose man was a witch, just pop out in brackets.
Just pop that in brackets. I think we've discussed that before, actually, the old woman whose mum was a witch.
Whose man was a witch.
Yeah.
Oh.
The old woman next door has been worrying because she keeps seeing adverts on the telly about changing to digital TV. She's saying she doesn't want wires drilled into her walls because they'll make a mess. Me dad told her that it doesn't matter because it'll probably won't happen until 2012 and she'll be dead by then.
He didn't say that to her though, did
No, he did. They've got, you know, she's old. She knows she's going to die. I mean, it's something we've all got in common. And he's right, isn't he? Why is she worrying about it? Maybe that's sorted it out. Put it into perspective for her. You will be dead when this happens. Don't be worrying about it. But everybody worries, don't they? You've got that little sort of hole in your head that you fill with worries. You know, everyone's got to fill that little worry hole with worries, and that's hers.
Worry hole. Everyone's got to fill the
we've
worry
got
hole
to
with
assume
worry.
that there's a worry hole.
A worry hole.
Don't be filled with worries.
I love the fact that, you know, doctors in the million years would dig this up and go, humans used to have a worry hole.
Went to bed around midnight. Suzanne and I decided to sleep tops and tails, because it made me get a bit more room. Me dad had cut a bit off the mattress to fit it between two cupboards. It's amazing how much of a difference it makes just sawing off a bit of the mattress. You sort of roll to the edge, but the weight of the blankets keeps you in. This is like something from a Roald Dahl book.
No, it's just, you know, you think anything, you can sort of trim anything, can't you, and it normally works. But with a mattress, I mean, he only took off, I don't know how long that is, but he's sawn off about that much on the mattress and then has stapled it back together again.
Amazing.
And it just makes so much difference.
Of course it does, because a mattress is a very carefully designed object.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, though, would you?
Well, you
just
would
think
if you had a
it's full of
fucking brain in
sponge.
your nut.
No. Someone took his brain out of his worry hole? Oh, God. He sawed the mattress in half. So we decided to sleep tops and tails. It just gets stranger.
So strange. Why?
You did it to make the room nicer with the cupboards on either side.
So he sawed a mattress in half.
Well, not in half.
Can you imagine how much hard it must be to saw a mattress in half? What did he use? What, a big electric saw?
Well, it must have been, yeah, because there's a lot of springs and stuff in there.
Jesus.
So what happens to the springs? They just spring out the
Well,
sides.
some sort of stick out a little bit, but you're not lying on top, are you? They come out the side. So it's just got a bit of gaffer tape and a staple gun.
Unbelievable.
Hey, man alive. It's like,
Does he run it as a hotel? That's unbelievable.
there are squats with better bedding arrangements.
Well, we've had a bit of a bad thing in our house about mattresses and that, because when we first bought our first flat in Salford, you know what it's like when you buy somewhere, you sort of, you haven't got any money, have you, to buy extra stuff that you need. So, we'd bought a bed, right, but there's that rip-off thing with beds, where you buy a bed, but a mattress doesn't come with it, which I've never understood that. Because it's not a bed, is it? Without that mattress, it's not a bed. It's a car without an engine. You wouldn't go, there you go. Well, that seems cheap. Well, there's no engine in it. So we bought this, like, you know, flat and what have you. And we bought the bed. And then, like, oh, we haven't got a mattress. So my dad got one from Uncle Alf. No, well, from that Uncle Alf fella, because he had one in his van that he used to use now and again if he was, like, travelling round. He'd just kip in the back on this mattress.
Amazing.
A bloke who drove around in a van with a mattress in the back.
So
How
Uncle
terrifying.
Alf, right? Well, tell me about Uncle Alf.
Well, you know about him, he's the one who slept in a dinghy. He's the one who...
Because his mattress was in his car.
Yeah, why didn't he go, oh, well, Alf, where's the bed? Left it in the car again. Oh, blow up the dinghy. Blow up the dinghy. I'm not going to go out and get it. Not at this time of night.
So anyway, my dad got me his mattress, and it just stunk of diesel. And Suzanne was like, "Oh, I'm not happy with this," and I think she realised sort of what sort of family
She got herself
and
into.
stuff.
Wow, she landed on her feet when she got you.
So now she's always a bit touchy about, you know, mattresses and things.
Unbelievable.
Uncle Alf, of course, sadly passed away when he couldn't escape from his sinking ship.
The fire engines were too late. No one got out of the way because they were laughing so much.
The mad woman next door saw me and said, "Hello, Clive. You live in a nursery rhyme. The old man down the road, the old woman next door whose mum's a witch, Uncle Alf who lives in a dinghy."
This is like not a real place. It's like fucking Narnia.
It's a children's TV programme.
Unbelievable. Oh, God. Oh, just all of them there on this broken mattress trying to find the golden ticket. Oh, God. Oh, God.
The old fella down the road talked to my dad a bit. He kept bees in the back garden.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Here comes the bee man.
His Yorkie dog was knocking about when he was messing with them, and it ended up getting stung 150 times.
Oh, little bastard. What is he doing?
It's not dead, but it cost a lot to get all the stings out. I don't know why people keep dangerous pets and insects. The amount of gear he had to wear to play with them is barmy. I don't think he's playing with the bees.
He's not playing with them, is he?
Well, what is he doing then?
Well, I don't know, but I think you should get the dog the same protection.
Yeah, but that's just it, isn't it? It's like, you can't mix your pets. If you've got a snake, you don't have a mouse. Do you know what I mean? They don't get on. And it's the same with them. Don't have bees. I can't imagine one bit of enjoyment. The only thing he does is the honey. And it's like, well, how much is that to buy? It's not worth messing about wearing a big white suit just to get some honey. There's a shop down the road.
Because your dad was a cabbie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Couldn't stand it, but it's good money.
He was he wasn't like a chancer, though.
What was he doing when he put that little Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin?
That was part of the cab company thing. They had to do like a charity event once a year, and he did it one year. Never asked him again.
Tell us the story again.
I'd rather not, because we got a few sort of complaints about it.
Why? Why did you get complaints about it?
Because he put a kid in a bin, and it's not the thing to do.
But we could use it as a sort of sobering lesson for people.
Yeah, tell it like a, you know, you shouldn't do it.
No, yeah, but that's how I did it last time, but people still didn't like it. All the stuff I tell you, we don't take the mickey out of people on purpose.
No.
It's real life, innit? And that goes on in life.
Yeah.
My dad was saying that in hospital, though. Do you know how he was in hospital?
Yeah.
You know, he did some jokes about old people and that, and he said at the end of the day, if something makes you laugh, it's funny. And if it makes you laugh, you can't help laughing, can you? Do you know what I mean? So, what you meant to do? And laughing's good for you.
Yeah.
So,
but being laughed at isn't as good for you, is it?
No, but there's probably more people laughing at one person, so if you balance it out, there's only one person who's upset and there's a bunch of people laughing. So, it's
genius! Give me an example of that, give me an example.
Well, for instance, Karl Pilkington as he talks and the people listening.
Yeah, no, give me an example of like, so, you know.
I can't, because again, that's what I'm saying, I can't tell you the story, because there might be someone out there who, this person might even be listening and think, I forgot about that and you brought it all back to me.
Yeah.
So I prefer to leave it, but I think people know.
Why did he put him in the bin in the first place?
Because he was getting out of hand.
What was he doing though?
You see, I can't explain.
You can. Don't be silly.
I prefer to leave it, honestly.
What was he doing? Was he annoying him?
He was annoying my dad and the other people in the cab.
Right.
And he thought, how can I deal with this before it gets too out of hand?
Yeah.
He pulled over and put the lad in a wheelie bin.
I'm gonna burst.
So we'll leave that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
How old was the kid?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a trip to sort of Blackpool, so I'm guessing.
Do you think it was one of the rides?
17.
This is rubbish.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, he's quite an old lad then.
So a big lad.
Yeah.
But let's.
Did he pick him up?
He picks him up and put him in a wheelie bin.
Every time he says it, I like it.
And then on the way back, he got him back again. He said, right, you won't do that again.
On the way back?
Yeah, he left him there for a bit.
He left him there, what, they went to Blackpool and he left the kid in the wheelie bin?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
What, was the kid in the wheelie bin when he drove back?
Yeah.
Did he not get out?
No, because how do you get out? It's tricky, innit? And he wasn't a normal kid, was he? Let's leave it.
He wasn't a normal kid.
Right then. So,
Is your father in prison?
Oh,
I think he should be.
Can we put a song on?
Yeah, go on then.
What? Someone's left one of those little things in here. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Amazing. What are they called, those things?
I imagine just then I was thinking of being in the front row at a Morrissey concert and going, can I just play along? They are brilliant.
I don't know what kind of sound that is.
I don't know. It's only used for when Kenneth Williams
yeah, exactly.
sees someone undressing.
Yeah.
That's the only time that is used, that noise.
Exactly.
That is brilliant.
But it's like it was specially created for the Carry On films.
Yeah, we need, I don't know what it is, but we need something when I walk in and see someone changing. Well, what about this? There is a light that never goes out by the Smiths. I phoned Karl up in the week, yeah, and I said, what are you doing? He went, well, even though it's one of my days off, I'm just doing some research on the web. Found anything that said, yeah, I'm doing science. And then he said, you can get wigs for dogs in Tokyo. That's his scientific fact. And I went, what do you mean? Dogs, if they need a wig? I said, if they need a wig, what? Dogs going bald? And he went, like, this is fine to him, he went, it's a stressful city, Tokyo. The world's alright with Karl. He's always got an explanation. I've only ever seen him confused once. When, in Edinburgh, he looked out of his window one day and he saw a bloke putting a parking ticket on some rubbish.
Yeah.
And that genuinely confused him.
Yeah.
He couldn't work out, could you?
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
And the woman breastfeeding her 8-year-old child. You didn't like, did you?
I don't like that. But, the what's the name? Animals with wigs. I kind of thought, after I put the phone down to you, I kind of thought about it, thought, yeah, it's a bit daft, that.
Are you sure it's not the ageing pop group?
No.
The Animals?
But when you think, have you ever seen, like, a bald pet?
No.
It's weird.
What do you mean?
Because my mum, we had a cat, we used to get through loads of cats because we lived on
Oh God! It started early today, innit?
What do you mean?
It's only 10 past 1.
What are you doing? Running a restaurant?
We lived on.
Oh God! What do you mean?
No, we lived on like a main road.
Oh yeah.
Right? So we used to get through a lot of them. My dad
It was
kept
their
saying,
risk.
you know, stop wasting money. You know, it's not
Stop
good.
wasting money, not wasting cats.
Right. So anyway, we had this cat that was ill all the time, and
It's just bag of nerves, probably.
Yeah, malingerer. Yeah, I'm terrified.
I'm going to which house?
Rome. Oh God, bloody hell. Rome.
Don't let me go to the Pilkingtons.
and it, for some reason, it kept being sick all the time. Right?
Yeah, that is nerves. That's definitely nerves.
So my mum kind of thought, oh, I've had enough of this, and she shaved it.
What? Whoa! 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 Now I know you're not vets in your family, but what correlation did your mum think there was between you being sick and shaving it?
Because it kept being sick, and it was a pain to wash, because it kept getting
So
caught
she
up.
wanted a dry wipe cat.
So
Why didn't you just varnish it? What?
it's weird. It's weird. Though.
So now he's cold and sick.
No, but I mean, not all of it. She left sort of the back half, but sort of from its waist, sort of.
I love that! Shave it because it's sick on itself!
And
That is
it was
genius.
the weirdest looking thing. I mean, normally I like cats. I'm always like giving yours a stroke on the head and that.
Yeah.
But as soon as she did that, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
can't touch it. And then
So now it's sick, cold, and hated.
Yeah.
Karl.
It must have, I mean, the other cats must have been taking the mick out of it constantly. It's just making things worse. Did it get, I'm hoping that it got run over and was put out of its misery.
no, I think it got all right, that one. Or is that the? Yeah, it did get run over. It did.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
How many cats do you say you've got through?
I'd say whilst I was living at home, I mean, it's still on the increase even though I'm not there. So whilst I was there, probably 5.
God.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
And were you upset each time, or you just got used to it?
It's one of them things, isn't it? Like I've said before, when you first see something, it's a bit of a shock. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Elephant Man or whatever.
Yeah.
First time you see him, it's that sort of, oh, look at that.
Do you remember the first time you saw Steve? No, I'm not being funny. Do you remember the first?
Yeah, but I've said this before. It's always then you get used to how people look, and you don't. No.
I'm gonna burst. You have to play a record.
No, but
because I just see Steve's face.
no, but I've got used to it.
Shut up. Someone just sent this in.
Yeah.
They've been looking on eBay for Victoria Plum.
You're joking?
Come here and see the photograph.
Oh God, that's fantastic. Hold on. Let's have a look.
That's it.
Oh God, he got that for his mum.
It's the worst piece of tat I've ever seen.
Carl! Carl. Imagine how. Oh,
Gutted.
Carl. Imagine how. Look, think of him now, right?
There it is.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen. I tell you, it looks like a Diddy man gone wrong.
It's
It looks like a
extraordinary.
Diddy man prostitute. That is.
Is that the one, Carl? Is that
Well, it was a different colour. It had a yellow at mine.
No, but look. How do they get? Tell them they
Okay,
go,
so,
go into eBay.
So you need to log on to ebay.co.uk. I'm sure you've used it before. It's the online marketplace, ebay.co.uk. And if you type in Victoria Plum, I'm assuming that you can track this down.
That's amazing.
It's the worst piece of rubbish I've
just
ever
think
seen.
how cute he was as a kid, though, doing that. Just think of him, just going... just seeing that and thinking, oh, he likes gnomes! It's the worst thing I've ever seen!
I mean, to be fair, I don't know what her prize collection of gnomes looks like, but I can't imagine they're much better than that. I mean, gnomes are a fairly grotesque thing. But certainly your mum's taste and discretion is...
Did you have those houses on your estate? You'd go in there and it was just loads of those dolls still in their packaging all around the room. And sort of like one of those homes that keeps the, sort of packaging on the three-piece suite.
Why don't you buy another one for her for Christmas?
Yeah.
It's $3.99 it looks, but that's £2.49. Because that was $3.99.
Well.
Oh, buy it, Karl.
No, 'cause I've sorted out her passport this year anyway. I'll get her that next year. Right, so listen, right?
Okay. Bit of David Bowie. When's that ever hurt anyone, Steve?
Never.
Lady Stardust off Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant. Karl Pilkington is in the middle of educating me. Then, educate me.
Right, so,
I've learnt that you can, fiddle around with your brain when awake. That's brilliant.
I've never been a fan of doctors, though, so this was a good one for me to look up, because...
Yeah.
Did I tell you the time when, the doctor said, I was gonna die?
Alright, keep talking.
Right, ages ago, must have been about 15, right? And, at lunchtime there was this... We used to have a choice of stuff to do at lunchtime, right? We used to have, like a burger place that had an arcade machine in it, right? So we used to go there and play on that and have a burger. Or, there was this baker's, right, that my mum worked at, and, did great cakes and stuff, right? So, she used to, like, bring some home and that, but she couldn't always bring them home every night because, they cost money and she used to get them for free. And they used to say they'd rather chuck them away than give them to the staff because there's a chance that the cream might be off.
Right.
Right, so they used to chuck them round the back. So I used to go round the back with my mate and eat a load.
Brilliant. Eating out of bins.
No, it wasn't out of bins, they were still in trays, but they just stacked them up near the bins, right? So this got out, it used to be chocker. Once the school found out, everybody used to go there, and it'd be like, well, have a cake.
The headmaster crawling through, fighting the kids off.
Right, so I'd have, you'd just eat, 6 jam donuts or something, and then you'd spend your dinner money on the arcade machine.
Brilliant.
Right? So it was a good afternoon, really, right? So, you'd do that, and this one day I must have had 6 or 7 jam donuts, a few Congress tarts.
What's a Congress tart?
I love them, I can't get them in London, right? So I'd have some of them.
If anyone can get a Congress tart, for Karl in London, please let him know.
So anyway, this day, that was just a normal day, do you know what I mean? You'd, once or twice a week, you'd have a load of cake.
In your life,
yeah. A
so
normal
anyway,
day in your life. Were the frog boys there with the webbed hands and the big heads? And the horse in the settee? Yeah.
But the day after one of these days, I had really bad cramp in my belly. Right? I was like in agony, could hardly walk, so I said to my mum,
you could hardly stagger to the free cakes.
So, I was in absolute agony. I said, I don't like doctors, but you'll have to get a doctor in because I don't know what it is, I can't walk. She gets the doctor round, I won't say his name, but he said, well, doesn't look like he's got long left.
Blimey.
So I was a bit like, hang on a minute, I've only had a few cream donuts.
Yeah.
My mum was panicking.
Sure.
He went, my dad came in from work, she said, something's really bad with Karl, I think it's serious, the doctor said he ain't got long left. So he said, what, he said that and just left? So she said, yeah. He said, I'll have to call him then. So he called him up, said, what's all this about? Karl hasn't got long left, how long's he got? So he goes, I was only messing. He's just had some bad cream. Can you believe that?
Well, the thing is...
I like the fact your mum didn't ask any questions.
I know.
She didn't go into detail. Can you explain more, Doctor? No, I got a shoe off.
But she doesn't. She doesn't like talking.
I don't want to diss you or your family, but I imagine if I was there, I'd have known the doctor was joking. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I sound very arrogant there, but I imagine he went, what's he been doing? I had about 6 cream cones. Oh, right, oh wow. He hasn't got long to live then. I'll see you later. That's what I think the doctor did.
Yeah. It's like the idea your mum just let him go.
Yeah.
Terrified, thinking, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to probe him, he's that's it then.
Dad comes in. Hi, honey, I'm home. Anything happened? The doctor said Karl's gonna die and then left. Did he? I'll call him.
But anyway, that's why these sort of things fascinate me. I can't remember being a baby, and I put that down to it being boring. Because you only remember the good things.
Remember your birthday!
No, it's you remember the good things in life, don't you? I'm quite happy. I can sit down for a good hour or so and just think back and go, oh, that was good.
When was the last time you reminisced?
Well, my mum and dad have been round, haven't they? So been reminiscing a lot.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about?
We were just chatting about Tic Tacs.
One of the great memories, yeah. The happy memories.
No, because you see, here's the thing. You're saying how that woman changed when she had her head caved in.
He never said that.
What did you? Well, the brain accident.
Yeah. Brain accident, yeah.
The Tic Tacs. Now, I used to love them
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Yeah.
My dad got a load of them.
What, this year?
No,
Just
no,
recently?
years
Oh,
ago.
years ago,
Like
right,
years
okay.
ago when I loved them. I said I loved Tic Tacs, me.
Yeah.
He met one of his mates.
You didn't nick him from the sweet shop?
No,
No, that's what
he
you
knew
do,
some
yeah.
mate who could get his hand on a load.
Right.
And he
Thief,
must have
he was
got
a thief.
he must have got about 30 crates of Tic Tacs.
30 crates of Tic Tacs.
Honestly, with like about 24 on each crate. We got them, stuck them in a cupboard under the just in the kitchen in the corner.
Yeah.
Now I worked my way through about 6 crates. I was quite happy.
When? In how long?
I don't know, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something.
Right.
And then after that, I'm getting sick of these.
Right.
Yeah. You were minty fresh, but you
Oh,
were sick
lovely
of them.
fresh breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I haven't got that much more to tell you about it. It's just.
What do
I
you-
So
just
this, sorry,
remember-
whoa, bear in mind, this was something he was recently reminiscing with his parents about. They were sat round, and we've already learned up to an hour could go by reminiscing. Sat round for an hour, talking about the great
I've already
Tic
run
Tac
out of
saga.
responses. I've got
Yeah.
nothing to say about
No
that.
opinion
I
about
mean,
that.
I was nearly going to say, what'd you do with the empty little flicky Tic Tac boxes?
Yeah, but then
I
you
mean,
realise that that's utterly dull and boring.
well,
and not
I
of any interest.
was struggling. I don't know what this anecdote is, other than a bloke. Other than you said your dad, I like Tic Tacs, mate. He went, all right. I talked to Albert. Albert, you got Tic Tacs? I've got 30 crates. If that'll do, yeah, yeah. I'll bring him round. Put him under cupboard. He's got through 12 crates. What's his breath like? Fucking lovely, but he's been sick all over the cunting place. Oh, do you want some more? No, of course we fucking don't. You'll talk about that in a few years' time. Of course we will for about a fucking hour.
No.
Then we bring it up in an audio book.
But I think that's how we got onto it, because even though I tried to get rid of a load, I used to give them to mates, take them to school, say, have some Tic Tacs. You can have them for free. We used a load in the cat litter tray.
No. No,
we
you
did.
didn't.
We did. It
No,
was
you
just
didn't.
ways of getting rid of them.
Jesus Christ.
Sort of freshy smell, isn't it? It's
That's
the same
amazing.
sort of condensity in that, isn't it?
Condensity. It is the same condensity.
Condensity.
Yeah, so I got rid of them like that. And then the weird thing was, even though I'd got shut of them all, you'd be backing up and you'd always hear one ting its way up the tube.
It's tinging its way up the tube. It's tinging its way up the tube. It's tinging its way up the tube. Ting tong ping pong. It's tinging its way up the tube.
That sounds like something from Willy Wonka.
Oh
No,
god.
it's just I'm just demonstrating that because that's how many of them there were around the house. You'd drop them, they'd go in every corner and that, like Pac-Man or something. They'd be
That's
everywhere. You'd be backing
amazing.
up, tinging it up.
Sheila's getting married. Hannah gets confetti. Don't buy any confetti. Go to cupboard under stairs.
So yeah, that's a little memory there, isn't it?
It
That
is a
just
little
cropped up.
memory.
Now
It's a really little memory.
The strange Tic Tac house in Salford, where everything is made of Tic Tacs.
Wow, that must have been a hell
That's
of
incre-
hell of a time you had with your parents there. The
Oh.
old Tic Tac
No, but it's
reminiscence.
better. You see, you're saying, oh, what a boring story that is. But when
I
my
see
mum and
you've
dad,
re-gravelled the drive. Yeah, smell it. Suck the drive if you want.
no, but it's different. When my mum and dad are there and they can remember that, and they're going, oh yeah, the Tic Tac incidents and stuff.
What's known as the Tic Tac incident.
The Tic Tac
Let us
incident.
never speak of the Tic Tac incident.
Yeah, I just imagine the clock ticking. There, it's Christmas Day. I go, what are you smiling at? Oh, remember it used to ting up the tube.
You should think about selling this to Hollywood.
Listen, what do you remember then?
What do
do
you
I
remember?
remember?
That's
Wow.
an amazing thing to
That's
say.
a difficult question to answer.
Yeah, I don't. Nothing. Nothing at all.
Why, out of interest though, and this will sound naive, why don't we remember the very early moments of our lives? Why is it because it would be too harrowing to remember the point at which we, sort of born? Because I don't really remember anything from those first few years. Why is it? Is it just because the brain's not fully formed at that moment?
I don't know.
The memory's not sufficiently developed?
I honestly...
It's got to be trauma, hasn't it? It's the things... Again, we were talking about me being younger, and the youngest I could remember back to was 1978.
How old were you then?
When were you born?
72.
What, you couldn't remember earlier than 6? You can remember back to about 2 or 3, most people. What?
No way. No way. My mum and dad don't even remember me then. Because you're not doing anything. This is what I'm saying.
My mum and dad don't even remember me then. That's amazing.
Because they pinpoint
They remember
things.
all the Tic Tacs they've ever eaten.
Yeah. Do you remember when Karl was 6? Of course I do. 5? Yeah. 4? Yeah. 3? No. 2? No.
Because you're not doing anything, are you?
My mum and dad don't even remember me then.
And it's weird.
I remember, must have been about 2, sitting on a potty surrounded by Lego. I remember that, very strong image I have of that.
No, I don't remember that.
No, you wouldn't remember that, were you?
You weren't there, were you? What do you mean? What, you don't remember Steve sitting on a potty surrounded by Lego?
No, I mean, I can't remember having a potty. I remember having one of them.
I'm not suggesting you have the
You
same
used to
memory.
go in a fucking litter tray. Now I know why, to eat a Tic Tac while you're having a shit.
But, okay, so what is your very first memory?
The one that cropped up the other day was having my eyes sort of glued together by
gangsters. Where's the fucking Tic Tacs?
Karl, any more? Oh, tell that story that you were telling me about your dad when he was driving.
Well, it's just that you were talking about... Well, I mentioned Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And the Forrest Gump types. When my dad was when he was a taxi driver...
Yeah.
You used to have to sort of do your bit for the local area.
Oh, God.
By taking the Forrest Gump people to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called now, the Forrest Gump people? Is that what the organisations that support them ask for them to be referred to
a
as?
minibus with
Exactly.
life is a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly.
.com.
Well,
Forrest Gump types.
It must be, so you work with these people.
It was,
the people with learning difficulties.
Yeah, and they used to get 5
Coming home must have been a busman's holiday.
So he got 5 of them in the cab.
Yeah.
And he had to go to Blackpool, and 4 of them were really good, you know, behaving themselves, didn't mess about, weren't fighting and stuff, but there was one who was just causing loads of trouble and he couldn't control him.
Oh,
and what you've got to be able to do with people like that, you don't want them to get stressed out because it's not good for them. It stresses them out, and you could end up with a bit
Thanks, Dr. Karl.
you could end up with a bit of a riot on your hands. So he thought, I'll nip this one in the bud right now, and he pulled up just on the outskirts of Blackpool, and he took the one out that was causing problems and put it in a wheelie bin.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise.
He did what?
Oh,
He did it for the good of the others. He put it in a wheelie bin. He was having a good time. He thought it was one of the rides.
Can you stop saying it?
Him.
Yeah.
He you know, he was having a good time, and once he calmed down, my dad went back and picked him up, and he was fine. He had a good
What,
time.
he left him in there the whole time the others were in Blackpool?
No, he left him there, not the whole day, probably about an hour and a half.
In a wheelie bin?
In a wheelie bin.
Why couldn't he get out?
Because, like, his arms were trapped on the thing. Some of those
What, he tied him up?
No, do you know, like, because he was a big fella, and, like, he managed to get him in so his arms were down the side like that, so he was a bit trapped.
Wasn't he screaming and crying and stuff?
He was making a bit of noise, but, do you know what I mean?
What, you feel served him right?
Well, but anyway, I didn't really want to talk about it. He just brought it up because of Forrest Gump.
Did his, family know about this? Is this the first time they'd have heard about this?
He didn't get asked to do it again. Because he had another problem similar to it where he had a little minibus, and it was his job to take a load of old women to the bingo hall, and it was miles away. And he took him there. There was no problem. About 10 old women in a minibus.
One of them was causing trouble, so he pulled over it.
No, right, so he took him there, everything's fine, he dropped him off, they had a lovely night, right, they had a lovely night, won a bit of cash, coming back, it's a bit of a late night, and they all started moaning at him, going, I want to be dropped off here, take me there, I want to be dropped off first, I've got to get up early, blah blah, you know, my husband's expecting me, I'm already late, take me here first, take me there, and he just pulled up, in the middle of nowhere, said, get out. And he made them get out, and they all called for taxis. They charged that company who was meant to be taking him home in the minibus, and he got the sack. But a similar sort of story. You can't be dealing with it when people don't sort of just calm down and, like, solve the situation.
Yeah.
They're just all like, I want to be dropped off first, take me here first, take me.
Yeah, so he acts like a madman. Good.
Oh, that was
Alright, we've got to crack on, haven't we, really? We got,
Says so much. Yeah.
Yes, Nick Drake, a song for the ladies this week from the album Brighter Later, At the Time of a City Clock. That's
Goodbye.
it. Yeah,
Goodbye.
see you next time.
Bye.
My mum and dad, right, they moved to this little house, right, and they had loads of furniture that they collected over the years without chucking out, and they've moved to this small house, so they just had too much furniture, right, and they had this double bed, and that was for, like, you know, when friends come round and that, they can stay there, but the problem was he wanted to sort of put these wardrobes in the bedroom, right, that went on either side of the bed.
Sort of wrapped around
because,
the bed.
yeah, but because the room was so small, he thought, I can sort that out.
Yeah.
Right? And he sawed the bed.
He sawed the bed?
He sawed the whole thing, so you've got, like, your mattress, your bed, and everything. And
What, he just sliced some off?
Like a big sandwich, just cut a bit off the edge.
Cut the crust off?
About how much is that, would you say?
About 8 inches, 6
About
inches.
8 inches.
But hold on, but that
he
won't
cut
work. Because it'll all fall out the side, and then what happened to the springs and all the supports and stuff?
He
It'll just
sorted it
collapse.
out. It didn't all come out and that. I mean, it's not the comfiest bed. but the weird thing is, he did it, and even though it's only like that 8 inches or whatever, it totally ruined it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, of course it would.
no, but what do you think I mean? I don't mean it ruined it as in it looks a mess.
No, it would have been uncomfortable.
Not even that though, just the fact it's that little bit shorter. It's like, God, for 2 people this is hard work now. This is like, you haven't got enough room, even though it's only 8 inches.
Why did he build the wardrobes first, without measuring, putting the...
I think he did all that and then thought, oh, it'll easily fit in there, and it didn't, so he had to sort of saw a bit off the bed. But it's just weird how only 8 inches...
Did he use one of those electric saws?
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
presumably there was just kind of
What
sort of
did it-
material and wood just flying everywhere.
What did he do with the legs? Did he have to move the legs in a bit?
He moved the legs. Looking at it, right, once it's got, like, the quilt on it and everything, you wouldn't know. I was like,
Sure.
yeah, that's alright, you've done a good job.
Yeah.
And I went to bed at night, he's like, you know, sleep well. Got up in the morning after having about 45 minutes sleep and said, something not right with that.
Yeah.
And he
You
goes, "What do
really are
mean?"
your father's son, aren't you?
I said,
There's something not
I said,
right
it's
with
not
that.
right. And he said, oh, well, I said, what have you done? It doesn't seem the same. And he said, oh, I had to shorten it, sort of thing, you know, to fit in the gap. I said, well, I can't sleep in it. I said, and there was a big kerfuffle. My mum was saying, look, you have our bed then, and we'll sleep in that one. And my dad was like, sod that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ruined.
you know.
Some idiot cut it.
So, there was a big debate going on about where we should sleep, and I was saying, look, you know, I only come and see you, like, every couple of, you know, probably once every 6 months.
I'm not being funny, but next time we go home, can I film it? Just for, do you know what I mean, Channel 4 or something?
Well, you know, I mean, the Osbournes is not on at the moment. The
Yeah, no.
Pilkingtons.
It'd be-
Now that would be extraordinary.
oh, can we film it?
That's brilliant.
Is anyone from Channel 5 listening to this show?
Or Bravo.
Yeah.
The Pilkingtons.
Weird, though. Weird.
Play a record?
What do you want to play? Do you want to play, do you fancy playing something of yours?
What, have we got
I
anything?
don't know, something that was sent in to you, maybe?
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you, yeah, I'd like to play this. Yeah, Bronze Age Fox. Band from Bristol, my neck of the woods.
Always
play the
working,
tune,
Karl,
play the tune.
always working. He's
Play the
always
tune.
working. He's on the ball. He's on the ball. He's on the Bobby ball. Karl wanted to start off with the Stereophonics.
Oh, loser.
Because it was a newer track. And Karl now, we've made him what he is. He was nothing when we
Nobody.
found him.
He was like work
And
experience.
now he's going, oh, we should start off with the Stereophonics. I'm going,
Trying to
Karl,
tell you what to do,
if
Ricky.
I want anyone's opinion, I don't.
But
Basically.
he'd probably come to me, I imagine, wouldn't he? I'd be the
Before-
first person.
Before Karl,
Yeah.
I'd consult you, Steve.
Thank
so
you.
just keep it. Just because he was in a, was it
He had his
Pilkington
mobile
making
disco
music?
outfit.
Pilkington making. I bet you never pleased a crowd once.
Did. Loads of times.
Go on then. What did you play? What's your
nice.
biggest gig you ever played?
I did, like a social club gig,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just about the music either. I used to
What else could it be about?
I used to take prizes and cigars and stuff
In a youth club.
to give away.
I just love these like 14-year-old manx hanging out going, let's go down here, you might have some fags and cigars for us.
Well, it was whatever, like, was on my mum and dad's dressing table.
That could have been embarrassing, couldn't it?
That could have been deeply embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. You've won.
And third prize, some handcuffs.
And a black mamba. I'm not saying that at any point in your upbringing, your parents left around any kind of marital aid on the dressing table. Don't think I'm saying that, Carl. I'm not suggesting. Like, he doesn't like this, does he?
Well, I can understand why.
Oh yeah, because it's about his.
About his parents having sex.
Well, they must have.
Yeah,
At least 3 times.
I think I was an accident.
I
still have had sex.
Carl. I think it's been ongoing.
Just because me brother and sister are quite older than me.
Yeah, me too. I was an accident. I know that. Yeah. How old's your brother and sister?
I think my sister's about 39.
Right.
And my brother's about 37.
Okay. And you're 29.
I'm like 29.
Right. So yeah, my next one's 11 years older than me.
Yeah.
That was definitely a.
Do you want to have a hug, you two, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're dealing with it now? You got over it?
Well, would you like to see us have a hug? Oh. Did your dad ever pop anything down in writing?
I'll tell you what, my mum wanted to do it.
Yeah.
There's been loads of things, little inventions she's come up with and that, but she's been too busy doing other stuff. But she used to come up with stories for me as a kid that I'm sure, if they came out, they'd be a success.
Yeah.
Go on.
Do you remember any of them?
There was one about a little red car. I can't remember how that ended. But the one that was really good was about a kid who gets a dog, right? But it's quite an old dog.
This is going to be an episode of the Waltons, isn't it?
Right.
Go on.
And he's playing with the dog and that, but it starts getting a bit old. It's about 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, it's rubbish, this dog." So,
I would love that book for kids. I would love that. Tommy went, "Oh, Mummy, my dad's... Oh, no, kill it then. Kill it then." She's like, "Yeah, just throw it in the lake. I'll get you another one. Do you want a Nintendo? Yeah. Kick the rabbit to death then."
right, so he said, "Oh, Mum, you know, this dog's rubbish and that. I'm sick of it."
Yeah.
So she goes...
How old were you when your mum was telling you this story?
Don't know, about 4.
Okay.
It wasn't last week on holiday.
Right.
So she goes, "Oh, alright then, we'll get you another one."
Yeah.
She goes, "Brilliant."
What did you do with the old one?
Just kept it, but didn't sort of play with it or anything.
Just ostracised it until it left of its own free will, or curled up and died.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So,
what did you get him? What sort of dog?
I think it was a little baby, like Labrador.
Puppy.
Little puppy, yeah.
Yeah, Labrador,
Right.
good one. Good choice for a second dog.
So,
Yeah.
so
I'm
anyway,
loving this story.
It's a great
I am
story.
actually loving this story.
So,
Where does he live?
I don't know, it didn't matter. It was near a lake.
Well, that's where they were getting rid of all the dogs. Sure.
Yeah.
We're getting, that'll make sense in a minute, right? So, so he's got the little dog, he's playing around with it, he's playing with its belly and stuff, he's thinking this is brilliant, best dog I've ever had, right? And the other dog sat in the corner looking all fed up, right? So,
I like this story.
so he says to his mum, "Right, I'm taking, little puppy down the park."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, take the old one with you." And he goes, "Oh, do we have to?"
It's a moral, isn't it? I bet the old one saves him.
So he goes, "Oh, do we have to?" She goes, "Yeah, it still needs a walk and that. It's crapping all over the house." Right.
Yeah.
So takes it down the park, right? And he's playing around and he's playing near the lake. Right?
Is the puppy near the lake, Carl? Because this is what's worrying me.
Yeah.
Puppy's near the lake, right? That jumps in.
Yeah.
The kid goes, "Oh God," he jumps in, remembers he can't swim,
Yeah, idiot.
right?
This kid is based on you, isn't it?
Almost certainly.
Flapping about. Water's going everywhere. He's going, "I can't." Oh God! And he wants the puppy to help him, but the puppy's just like drowning as well.
Yeah.
The old dog comes up, drags them both out. He goes, "I can't believe it. You know, I said I was fed up with you.
Yeah.
You saved my life."
Yeah.
He gets home, and he says to his mum,
Kill the
"Get
little
rid of
one.
the puppy."
Kill the puppy.
Yeah. So it's good little. Good
What
little
does he
story.
say when he gets home?
He said, "I don't need the puppy now. I've got." I'm happy
Brilliant. Brilliant. Genius.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, so the moral of that story
Well, they
is just
show-
follow your whims.
They just, yeah. If you get bored and get another puppy.
Get another dog.
If you get bored with the old one again, just do it again. I mean, just eventually, get something
Yeah,
that you
learn
like
your
for a
dogs,
little.
who cares?
Yeah. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant story, though.
I remember, I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting.
Well.
And when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
Cigars and dildos.
And one day, right,
Same thing.
that my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And, she said, what about? She said, I don't want to talk about it over the phone. So she goes, oh, right. Well, yeah, come round tonight then. So anyway, my mum sees me. She don't want to be in an awkward position and, like, be a bit embarrassed and what have you. So she sees me and she goes, right, Anthony's mum's coming round. What have you been doing?
Yeah.
So I go, oh, God. I said, I've been nicking stuff. So she goes, like, what? So, not big stuff. I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out. Hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So,
How many calculators do you need?
So it was when that phase.
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right, oh, yeah.
In Manchester a couple of years ago, yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to, like...
Computers will make it there one day.
I confessed to
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round, she only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, oh, I don't like asking, I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me. Bloody...
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you...
And he went, hold on, Mum, let's just work out the interest on that. I bank 10%. She'll owe you £4.40. Oh,
so your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention?
She went,
I just stuff with that other, because what I'm saying is presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you didn't.
No.
She went, no worries, I'll just go and get my purse. It's on the dressing table.
Exactly. Yeah.
Karl,
do you want a cigar?
what are the things you used to give away at your disco then that you'd find on the dressing table? You used to go into your parents' room and go, what can I give away tonight?
It was stuff like cigars. My dad liked cigars.
Yeah.
I had a pair of tights.
What do you mean?
Unopened. You know, you get them in like a long...
Who did you give that to?
Just whoever did the prize. It was stuff like, you know, we did like a little raffle.
Just imagine Karl going, this is for a pair
Who's
of
going joyriding this
Pretty
week?
Polly, sheer. Exactly.
Yeah, who's doing a bank job this week?
Exactly, that's what it was used for, yeah.
Just little bits, you know, unopened makeup, just stuff like that.
And did
Right.
their parents not notice?
Well, no, because it's stuff that you're not that bothered about. If a telly went missing, they'd notice it.
They would, wouldn't they? They'd be staring at a wall for 3 days.
But a pair of tights and a cigar and that, got away with it.
Yeah.
But it's funny as well, because like you had 2 names. I just like remembered. I started off as Dazzling Darren's Disco, just because the first lights I could afford belonged to someone who had their name put in lights.
Right.
So I went along with
You
that
had
name
to
for a bit.
pretend you were called Darren.
That's lovely.
That's great.
Is it worth it?
Good.
Brilliant.
And then it went on to Pilkington's making music.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's great.
Anyway, should we have some more music? 'Cause,
Yeah,
we've
go
been
on.
waiting for hours.
What are you going to play, Karl?
We've got the Cooper Temple Clause
Oh,
lined up.
brilliant.
There's a time and place to be lost.
Well, go on.
Well, a place
What's
you
the
don't
place?
know.
What's
and
the place to be lost?
Somewhere you don't know.
Right, good. Okay.
And the
specific.
time?
The time.
Time when you're not in a rush.
Right.
But that time I was in a rush. And I was cold.
So a typical argument in your head is what? I'm lost. I'll do one side of the brain, you do the other side of the brain, okay, in your head, okay? Karl,
What?
this isn't where we should be. You want to go home, didn't you? This isn't your house, because it's a field. You live in a house, don't you? Why are we standing in a field? This isn't your house. You're meant to go home, but you've walked into a field.
No, but that wouldn't. I've never been that lost. When I'm walking across a field, at the edge of the field, I'd go, hang on a minute, this isn't right. I wouldn't get in the middle. I wouldn't go that far. I'd go, right, I definitely shouldn't be here.
You did once. You were in the middle of a field, and your dad had to rescue you and carry you
that's when
through
I was
the
a kid, because I was reading as I was walking. That's,
And he never read again.
but there's another sense. I was in the middle of nettles there.
Yeah.
I'd walked. It was at my brother's wedding in Cornwall, and I was walking near a cliff edge.
Reading a book.
And okay, so okay. Walking. Karl, I know you're enjoying this book. Can I have a word with you? Just look past the book a minute. It's a big drop.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, and then
Right.
that's when my other senses went, hang on a minute, I'm being stung. Load of nettles and stuff. And I just had to wait there for ages until my dad sort of thought, where's Karl? I was there for about an hour and a half.
You showed a book.
Fuck me like a cartoon.
But why are you wandering off reading a book when it's your brother's wedding?
No, this was like, we were in, I think it was St Ives in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in St Ives, and just, you know, it was a nice day and that. There was no telly in the place. It was a horrible house. It was haunted.
Wow.
Actually, no, honestly.
No, not honestly. It wasn't haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. So,
It's
you saying honestly it was haunted means fuck all.
It's the weirdest place and weirdest sensation I've ever had. I spoke to a woman called Mrs. Battersby,
Right.
who sat on my bed keeping me up all night. My mum came up, she said, "You look shattered." I said, "Yeah, I haven't had a kip all night." She said, "Why?" I said, "I've been talking to Mrs. Battersby." She said, "Who's that?" I said, "No, some old woman." Now, I can't remember it now, but that's what I did then. And then,
Sorry. So Mrs. Battersby didn't exist. Is that what you're saying? She was the ghost.
yeah.
Wasn't the landlady.
No, there's no landlady. It's a big house,
Right.
about 12 bedrooms in it.
Right.
Dead cheap to stay there because it was a wreck. My
Were
mum
you
and dad
ill?
went out
Were you
one
ill?
night.
Did you have flu at the
No, I had
time?
nothing like that. I just...
So you were sitting up, but you were awake, and you were having a conversation with Mrs. Battersby.
What did she look like?
I can't remember. I can't even remember having the chat now.
Right,
But
so-
at the time, I was like, oh, she just doesn't shut up. Chatting all night.
So you don't remember this happening? Or you do remember it happening?
No, I remember that, like, if I see my mum now and I mention St. Ives, she'll go, "Oh yeah, Mrs. Battersby." She remembers coming in, because she was older than me, wasn't she? So, to
Who?
her, my mum.
Was she?
How old was Mrs. Battersby? She was older than both
She
of you.
was old because I'm calling her Mrs. Battersby. If she was my age, I'd probably say, "Oh, it's Susan" or whatever.
Right, sure,
You
Miss
call older
Miss
people
Battersby.
by the surname, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she kept me
How
up
old
all
were you?
night. Don't know. I'm thinking of pictures at the wedding.
Why do you have to go through other things to just have a memory?
How old do you reckon you were?
I don't understand why you haven't got direct access to your memories.
How old do you reckon you were?
Your mum was older though, yeah?
You must have a vague idea of when this
I'm
event
thinking about
was.
it now. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm picturing the picture of myself at this wedding.
Okay.
And how old are you? What are you doing?
How tall were
I'd say
you?
I look about.
How were you?
I'd say I look about 7 or 8. Looking at the picture.
Right, okay. Right, okay.
So Mrs. Battersby is chatting away to you. You don't remember what she said, but you do remember having the conversation.
No, he doesn't remember it
I
at
don't
all.
remember the chat now.
Well, then
So-
why are you telling? You
not
must
your
remember it
memory.
because you're telling us about
It's not
it.
your
Because it's a
memory.
memory. My mum's reminded me of it.
Yeah, but all it says is, oh, this is so far removed. This is hearsay that your mum said you spoke to a ghost once, and you don't even remember the ghost.
Mrs. Battersby.
No,
Yeah,
you
no, but
remember
you
the
don't
name
remember
only because
her.
your mum reminded you of
In a
it.
court of law, if there was a ghost court, they go hearsay, thrown out of court.
Right.
You
yeah.
don't have a memory of Mrs.
No,
Battersby.
look, I know that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I ate a beetle. I ate a beetle because I thought it was licorice. Now, I can't remember that now.
You can't remember that, but you know it happened because your mother told you it happened.
Exactly.
Right. But the fundamental thing is that we can believe we can believe you ate a beetle, right? Because that is something that could happen in real life.
But-
what we're questioning is that you spoke to a ghost.
What sort of beetle was it?
Just one of them standard beetles. Just a little black shiny one.
Thing is, right, a couple of years ago, we were in the Ivy, and the food came, and there's a big blob of wasabi, right? It was like called an Oriental hors d'oeuvre, right? And I looked over at Karl, and he started going, drinking water. I said, "What have you done?" He said, "I had that." I said, "That was a blob of wasabi." He said, "I thought it was one mushy pea."
That's a classy restaurant. They're serving one mushy pea.
Well, they do that, don't they?
Wow.
Small portions. It's all trendy, isn't it?
I love the fact that it's exactly the same thing, but they've swapped beetle for wasabi
Yeah.
and licorice for pea. You see things, you see something, you
It's a
think,
good job you remembered that anecdote though, because he doesn't.
exactly, yeah. In years to come, we'll be going, ate some wasabi once, did you?
Yeah.
Well, according to Ricky, I did, yeah. I was in the Ivy. I thought it were mushy pea. Huh?
So hang on, I just want to go back to Mrs. Battersby because
What
you
other-
confidently said it was haunted. It was the most haunted place.
Yeah.
But you've got no real evidence for it because even you claim you had this encounter, you don't even remember it.
But you don't remember everything in life,
But you
do you?
supposedly had a conversation with a ghost.
I know, but I didn't know. When I was younger, I
But you
didn't think
remember
that
the
was a
specifics
ghost.
of an ant walking around.
Yeah, so you thought, so I see. If you'd have had the memory, it would just be a nice old lady on the end of your bed all night.
Right.
And then,
Then, when I mentioned it, my mum was saying, "What do you mean, Mrs. Battersby? Who's Mrs. Battersby?"
right?
When you're a kid, you're not terrified, are you?
No.
Nothing scares
I mean,
you.
I'm beginning to think who the fuck is Mrs. Battersby, I must admit. But
So, yeah, that was, but it was a weird place. I mean, there was no telly. All they had for sort of company was a calculator.
Karl, what's the worst present you've ever had?
You see, we didn't really celebrate birthdays in our house, so...
What? Where are you from? What planet are you? What do you mean you don't celebrate birthdays?
Are you here from another world observing? Like, trying to blend in, but not quite managing to pull it off?
Not that fussed about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's...
Yeah.
My mum and dad's are on the same day, and I think that just was like...
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
And their anniversary, and...
Well, they got married on their mutual birthday.
But Carl, can I just... I mean,
and Christmas.
But Carl, there's a difference between you saying...
What do you mean their anniversary's on the same day? Of course it's on the same day.
Yeah, and the birthdays.
But, Carl, what I mean is that... you say that you don't really celebrate your birthday, but presumably you have received some presents at some point in your life from your parents. Or anyone.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's play a record.
Carl, have a think about that and we'll come back to you later. Thanks very much.
Scorpio Rising, Death in Vegas on XFM 104.9. Steve, I'm Ricky Gervais. Carl's a little bit less stressed now. The camera crew have gone, his dad's not listening, we think.
Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
But, you're chilled.
I tell you what though, my mum was loving it. Do you know Rockbusters?
Do I know Rockbusters? I love Rockbusters. I think I dream of it.
She was taking part. I mean, she doesn't know a lot of the new bands and that, but she made some up for some older bands and that.
Oh, she did some herself?
She made some herself, sent them in the post.
So are you going to use those today?
She's not quite got the hang of it.
So, unlike her genius son.
Have you got them there? Can we hear what they are?
You keep talking a second then.
I'm quite excited. I mean, if they're even approaching, say, the genius of Wet Knee Houston.
Yeah.
And, there was another one which was something to do with a trench, Carl. What was that?
That was Dandy Warhols. That was a good one.
Dandy Warhols.
I think that was his finest moment. Yeah.
Incidentally, I've got an email here from someone called Sauda, if that's a he or a she, but let's assume it's a she, just for glam's sake.
Yeah.
She says she saw an old man eating a Twix last week, Carl, so that blows your theory out the
I'm not having it.
Okay. So if you are a bloke, he's calling you a liar, so maybe you want a little rumble later?
In fact, if you are a bloke, he's calling you a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, then. These are ones that my mum's made up.
Brilliant.
Right, just in case you're a new listener, I give some initials out and a cryptic clue. And it makes up a band, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or a solo artist.
Yeah, not so much cryptic as what you're thinking.
Well,
go on.
My mum sent this one. This group would be good at doing your hair.
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
Is there a group called the Hairdressers from the 60s?
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
TP. Is it the something?
The Platters.
The Platters.
Yeah, that's all right.
So that's alright.
Nice.
Let's have a look. This group sound like dinosaurs.
Group sound like dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah. I see what you mean. They're not so much cryptic, are they?
This group...
Don't leave her alone. They're good.
This group likes being by the sand and the sea.
This group likes being...
Are they the Beach Boys, boy?
Beach Boys.
This band are called the Beatles. The Beatles.
Hang on. We just have
What else you got?
It's funny because one of them that she's done, I'm actually doing today. I thought of in the week.
Right?
So,
is it the same clue?
It was, yeah.
Wow,
But
great minds think alike.
Here's
So
the
this is
last
obviously
one.
coincidence.
Here's the last one from her. This guy sounds superb.
This guy sounds superb.
The Bachelors.
Glenn Campbell.
That's good. I like that.
I'd tell you this, I think you should get onto one of the big game, organisations, Parker Brothers or whatever, because this has got to be, I mean, this could sweep the nation at Christmas. Don't you think this is the perfect Christmas game?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is what's going to make or break the MTV thing.
Right. Some kind of TV version.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just thinking into ad breaks, you know, coming up next is this band.
Be careful though, Carl, because, you know, make sure you retain the rights, because I can see this selling abroad. You know, you could
and I can see someone coming along and taking the sort of like the Rockbusters and changing one word and like another game out of it and just using the same format. I don't know. I can't think of them there, but they could change. So
sort of like
they change the word rock to something else and have it.
What could it be? Brick block.
Yeah, and so you have to, you know what I mean? So be careful.
Blockbusters will never work.
Look at his little face.
Talking about buying presents and stuff, I think I did treat my mum to... I didn't buy my dad anything. I think that was like when I got a bit older, I used to get my dad something because he wasn't that bothered anyway.
No.
So, got me mum, there was a cheap shop, right?
Of course.
Thank God for that.
Called Snips. Right? So I went in there and I thought, let's see what I can get her. And remember Victoria Plum?
I don't think so.
Well, it's like a fairy character.
Right.
Right? And my mum's into gnomes and stuff, right? So I thought, right.
She must be pleased with you then.
Victoria Plum. I was thinking, is that one of the neighbours? Is it like a brandy
Do you
liqueur?
remember Victoria Plum?
Victoria Plum.
Victoria Plum, yeah, it's like a little fictional sort of character, right?
Okay.
So I saw it, I thought, yeah, she'll love that, right? So I did my paper round, saved up for 2 weeks, right?
Oh.
Got that sorted, went to Snips, bought the Victoria Plum. Next day, I'm in town with her, right? So I think, I know what I'll do. I said, come in here a minute, right? So we go in, and we're looking around, and I tested her, right? I went, look at that there, that's alright, innit? And she goes, oh, it's bloody awful.
Oh, Karl. Oh, Karl. Oh, God.
So then, Christmas Day comes, I said, don't bother opening it. She said, no, why? I said,
Oh,
"Don't
no! Why did you still give it to her?
So, well, it's too late, I'd already bought it.
Oh, Karl.
So she opened it, and I was like, and she said, oh, that's nice. I said, why are you saying that? I said, the other day, you said it's bloody awful. She said, oh, no, I thought you were pointing at something else.
Oh, no.
So that's why I don't get anyone anything anymore.
Oh, God. Play record. Oh, God. Oh. That's good, isn't it?
Not bad.
Gold Rush. Let you down. I'm actually quite affected by Karl's Victoria Plum scenario. Just the fact that, like, that eagerness, he wants to make sure it's a great present. He's saved up his paper round. He thinks it's like a gnome, but modern.
I'm worried that you're using it as an excuse now, and that's why you're not buying anyone any gifts, because you've had your fingers burned once. I mean, you were 6, 7 years old. To be fair.
No, you weren't. You were about 13, weren't you, if you're doing your paper round?
Yeah, it must have been, yeah, 11 or 12 then.
Alright.
Yeah, so I'd saved up. Oh, no, I'm not using it as a thing, it's just
What
that...
did you get your mum this year?
I've sent them some money so they can, get a passport.
So they can get a passport?
What do you mean, where are they?
Immigrants?
Are they trapped
No, 'cause they've
somewhere? Well, they're in a holding bay somewhere in Dover.
Yeah, I got a friend who's a truck driver who's going to sneak them across.
What do you mean?
So they can buy a passport. What do they do? Sell it when they were a bit down in their luck?
No, they haven't got that much money, right? They've never been abroad, and the mate said they might, take them next year, and they said, oh, we haven't got a passport, so I
You've got
thought...
to buy a passport, have you? Isn't that your God-given right as an Englishman?
No, you've got to pay for them, they're 30 quid each, so you better add do, otherwise they're conning me.
Right. So you sent them 60
You don't
quid?
get born with a passport, of course
You sent them 60 quid in an envelope, have you?
Well, check.
Right.
I love that. He'll be watching telly and France will come on and he'll go, oh, what do you think of that? She goes, it looks bloody awful. He'll go, don't open it.
No.
Don't open it. Don't open it.
So you've not paid for a holiday for them. You've
No, I've just sorted out the, well, it's the better prize, isn't it? Because they can't go anywhere without it.
Well, the passport keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So 10 years. That is, yeah.
So, but no, I never used to, I mean, I can't think of other things. I used to get me dad once I started getting him stuff, it sort of used to be a dressing gown, and then, but as an extra surprise, I used to put like a cigar in the pocket, so he'd think that was it.
Yeah.
Then he'd put it on and put his hand in the pocket.
Right, and then he'd just hit you because he thought you'd nicked it.
Oh dear.
So you bought him a jacket with a cigar? That's quite thoughtful.
Didn't you sneak a cigar once on Christmas?
Yeah, well, it was that's when they used to have, like, the big do's, like I say, you know, they were known for it, like, the whole estate used to know that, you know, we were having a party.
Yeah.
So,
so they'd all come round.
So they'd all come round and have food and drink and that.
Pocket
I cannot imagine how unpleasant that must have been.
Awful.
And you locked in your bedroom with a broken train set.
Yeah, crying.
And looking at Victoria Plum, whatever that was.
In the bin.
Oh, in the bin, yeah. And hear a mum saying, and he got me this. Isn't this
piece
shit?
of rubbish.
You could hear him just throwing it against the wall and laughing.
And all the neighbours laughing.
And you'd come down and just be in pieces with loads of spit on it. Just loads of gob on it.
Eyes.
And all the Polaroids of them just like laughing at it and
pointing.
stamping on it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Anne Robinson putting the Welsh into room 101.
What, because she didn't like him and that?
Yeah, she just said, well, they're going in the, you know.
She said it slightly more eloquently than that.
Yes, yeah.
I can the people or the place?
I don't know.
I think it was the place and therefore the people.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
No, well, you know, my mum and dad have sort of moved from Manchester. They reside now in Wales.
Oh, yeah.
And it is...
Look at his face, turning his nose up.
No, but it is pretty depressing. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them places that... it's like you go back in time and that when you go there. I mean, maybe the major cities there, maybe Cardiff is alright.
What, even coming from Manchester, it's like going back in time?
It's just... it's like one of them places that it feels like every day is Sunday. Do you know what I mean? It's just depressing and grey and slate
Lots of
everywhere.
vicars walking around going, I'm late.
Well, yeah, it is the sort of attitude they have, right? This is true, because my mum and dad live there and that, right? And they love it, it's alright, it's an healthy place to go when you get older and that. But, this is why they don't move on in Wales.
Well, I'd just like to make another...
No.
Sorry to any Welsh people listening, we're not saying you don't move on. Karl is.
No, but...
Sorry about the little Chinese shoes
The
again
thing
as well.
is, it's good that, in a way, that they do that, and they don't want to be, like, you know, rushing about everywhere, because the way London isn't that great either, is it? Because it's totally opposite here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not having a go. It is a bit dull. I think even people who live there will agree with me,
Okay.
right? But, like, one of the shops that my mum and dad use, right, it's only a little sort of villagey type shop, they can't be bothered staying open for hours and hours, right? Because there's not enough people use the shop.
Yeah.
So what you do is, they get used to what you buy,
And leave it out.
they put it in a phone box outside.
They put it in a phone box?
Yeah.
So it doesn't get wet.
So my dad's loving that.
Well,
Once he
yeah.
found that out, it was like, brilliant.
But how is that a bad thing? That's brilliant.
Well, it's not for other people, it is for my dad, because he's picking up all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
Chickens.
no, he's not!
Oh, yeah.
He's not nicking other people's shopping.
Well, it's not like nicking, is it, because it's not theirs yet.
Oh! And you've stitched him up on radio.
Well, of course, because they're going to think, who is there in town with a Manc accent? Who hangs around a lot?
Who keeps making phone calls. And is getting fatter.
Yeah.
That's
You've stitched it
I
right
love
up
that.
there,
I
Karl.
love that your dad was excited when he found out.
I can't believe that he's moved there. He's retired to this little village where it's based on trust and community, and he is abusing it. He's using his scally Manc ways.
Bloody hell, Lakers. There's no bread again.
There's old women
Was
going
empty?
hungry.
Yeah.
Their cats aren't getting fed, and your father is just... I can't... that's obscene. That's obscene.
Oh, I think it's Die Thief. That fella from Manchester.
I don't even think they've got Sky there yet, have they? They can't listen, they won't know what's...
I think you stitched him right up. I hope you have, actually. I hope he goes down for it. I hope he's hounded out of the community like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
They should get burning torches, go up to the
Set fire
mansion.
to his cottage.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, well...
He's out of the choir.
Yeah.
I'm just finding more and more things are annoying me.
Really?
Like, even... Like, at that Sony's night, right, you've got a lot of, respectable people going to that thing, you know, people who are high up at the BBC and that.
Yeah.
And just the way, you know, it's a posh night, there's people there with dinner jackets on and stuff.
Mm.
And then I went to the toilet for a wee. Old fella in there. I thought he looks like he's been in the, you know, the radio game for years, probably done loads of award-winning Sony stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the BBC documentaries to do, in-depth stuff, and I thought, you know, I wonder if I'll be like him when I'm older, I wonder if I'm as good as him. Thinking all that, he's having a wee in the next urinal. Farts.
I know. Yeah.
He just farts. Old fella in a dinner jacket, probably hired. And I thought,
But is that
he's not even showing
like
respect to
they
that.
try to? They think, well, I better do it in here, and it's sort of like a trumpet, and everyone just goes, yeah, that's fine. What's up with that? You know, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just the arrogance of doing
He
it.
just did it. It sounded like a lost whale. and he didn't sort of go and try and clinch it. He carried on, and then he went, oh, that was a good one.
Really?
Old fella, must have been about 70.
Oh dear.
And
Well, better out than in.
Yeah.
but it's not though. I wasn't brought up like that. You see,
Right.
because I did it. I mean, I never really did it that much as a kid,
Sure.
and then I was at my mum and dad's.
You never did it that much as a kid. What, farted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just like, you know, as a joke and that.
We are taping this for next year's Sony Award, aren't we? We're taping this, what we're talking about now, aren't we? To hand in. Because this is, go on.
But I was at my mum and dad's, right? And Suzanne was sat on the floor in front of me, and she was like, "Oh, rub my neck, it's hurting." So I thought, oh, and I hate doing that. It really it bores me.
Well,
right?
she's your girlfriend, for goodness sake.
I know. Dale Winton's different. You're getting paid for that. Go on.
So I thought the only way to shift her is I'll let one go, right? So I did that.
I love that.
It's such a loving relationship.
I love that. That's great.
So
Like
she's-
doing the washing up badly.
Yeah.
She won't ask me again. What have you done? I've smashed the cups up and I've written in excrement across the wall. Well, that's no good, isn't it? Well, I won't do it again
Give me
then.
the marigolds, I'll do it.
I've nailed the cat to the fridge. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, so I did that, and it worked. She sort of got up and said, "Oh," and my dad said, "What you do that for?"
Yeah. What was he thinking?
So I said, "Oh, I hate rubbing her neck. Does me head in." So he says, "You know, I've never trumped in front of your mother for 40 years."
Sorry, where was this? Chigley? Why is this family talking like this? Young Karl, I've never trumped in front of your mother in the 35 years. What? I don't know what...
No, it's just that he said, you know, we've done a lot of things in the family that
Hold
I'm not
on,
proud
what
of. And
did he say that for? What, he's never trumped in front of your mother?
He just offered that information up.
Well, he just was surprised that I did it. He said, "Where have you got that from?"
Yeah.
Whoa, you're lowering intestines, I'd thought. What do you have to imagine there's a class of farting. Oh,
No.
we haven't told our kids about farting. He doesn't do
Yeah.
it. We haven't told him about it. We haven't. No, we don't do it in front of him. You have to learn it, do you?
No, but there's a place. That's what I was always told.
Go on.
There's a place for that.
Cornwall.
So, and my mum, you know, it's the same. She doesn't do it.
Right.
If she goes to the toilet to, you know, do what you got to do, she makes sure, like, she'll sort of say things like, "Are you going out for a walk?"
Are you going out for a walk?
Does she think? Does she know that you're broadcasting this?
Well, yeah.
She's probably around at the neighbours now, listening.
Yeah.
Any of you going out for a walk?
Yeah, just at the door.
So she waits until everyone's left, or?
She doesn't like the thought that everyone... Do you know, like, cats don't like you staring at them when they're doing it?
I've never stared at a cat while it was doing anything.
Have you ever had a pet cat?
What do you mean? Yeah, go on.
No, it's just that cats, you know, if you get them a little litter tray,
Yeah.
I remember being told, like, no, when it does use it, don't sort of go and look at it. Because it puts it off. I was the same as a kid. I didn't... When I had a nappy...
Who comes and looks at you when you're on the bottom?
No, when I was a kid and I was in a nappy, right,
Yeah.
I used to always, like, there was a corner in the kitchen that I'd always go to. And everyone would be
Why do you go
like...
to the toilet?
Because I had a nappy on.
Oh yeah, right. How old were you?
14th birthday?
About 3 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I used to always go to this corner, and
Yeah.
everyone said, right, he's going to the corner, don't stare at him.
The thing is, I can so imagine you because you've got the same head.
Yeah, you look like a baby.
It's just the baby's head. Put that. Would you put a nappy on for 50 quid?
Now.
Yeah. Just sitting, do your work,
Well,
right?
anyway.
Just sit in the
right,
corner.
So I'm not doing that, right?
Come on.
So yeah, my mum's like that, and something else she's good. I mean,
Okay,
people might want to know.
At dinner party, oh no, it's Mrs. Pilkington just in the corner, just don't look at her.
Yeah, don't look at Mrs. P.
She's just in the corner of our kitchen, don't just look at her. What's she doing? She's just doing her business. There she is squatting. Are you going for a walk?
Sorry, you were saying, Karl.
Another trick I've learnt from her, right? If you're using, say, a friend's toilet or something, and you don't want to leave your mark, just
Go down the toilet and flush it.
take a box of matches with you.
Yes.
Set fire to the curtains.
Set fire to the curtains calls a distraction.
Burn the place down, have a wonderful crap, and just leave when the fire brigade get there.
Forget it.
Tell us about this woman.
Well, it was just because you were saying about our living.
We are broadcasting now, aren't we? This is actually going out, this is live. This isn't us sort of like...
Yeah, but you were just talking about how I lived in an odd village.
Yeah.
With kids with big heads and all that, right? And what I wanted to do...
What is that again? There's 2 kids with big heads.
Yeah, they just had sort of big heads and webbed hands and that. They went to my school. And when I spoke to my dad the other day, because I'm going to see my mum and dad tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So I said, have we got any school photographs with the big-headed kids in? And he said, no, nobody bought those sort of school photos. because they were in it, so it was always a bit ruined. But I said, well,
No!
he said sales would, because he obviously talked to other dads and stuff like that, and he just said, oh, no one bought them. But anyway, so
I would love them!
Yeah.
That's why I'd buy them.
yeah, but I wouldn't stand out, would I? If it's on the mantelpiece.
Well,
So, but anyway, so I was talking about,
when you say they had big heads, what do you mean? Do they look like someone from Doctor Who?
they were just quite big.
But they weren't related.
No.
So why did two blokes with big heads and webbed feet?
I lived in a weird area. There was a chemical plant close by.
I can't believe you've never told us that before. That explains a lot. Not just the freaks in your neighbourhood, but
No,
yours truly.
there was loads of weird stuff going on. There was this, like I said, there was this woman who used to live in one of the council flats, right? And she had a three-wheeled sort of big. What do you call it?
Son, three-wheeled son. He was the weirdest bloke we ever knew.
Well, they call it like a big tricycle, but for an adult rather than one for a kid. It was a big one.
It wasn't a motorbike though. It was a
No, it was a push bike thing.
Yeah.
And she used to sort of ride down the road with a fella sat in the basket on the back with his legs dangling over, and they'd be going to the pub and what have you.
Was it a different fella each time or the same one?
Yeah.
Little sort of bald-headed fella.
Sure, it was in collection for organs and things. Bring out your ill. And then people just throw Grandad just in the back and go, right, we're getting £4 for Grandad.
Well, but she used
He's got a
to
lovely pair of testicles on him. They're very low, but they're
Bring out your dead or nearly dead.
She used to pick on her husband quite a lot. They'd be in the pub and what have you, and they'd be sat by themselves, but she'd always be sort of, having a go at him, moaning at him, sort of pushing him about and that. So my dad and his mate, right, they went round to their house, knocked on the door, she answered, and he said he was a copper, right? He said, Detective Pilkington, gonna come in and have a word.
So I'm just going to make a note of impersonating a police officer.
Yeah, but for the good, he went in and sort of said, now, I've heard, you picking on your husband a lot.
Yeah.
We'll be keeping an eye on you. Do it again, and there'll be trouble. And she backed off after that. She was alright.
And how was the husband? Was he still in the basket though? Was he allowed to ever sort of ride up front with her? Or was he just always in the basket?
She'd sort of stopped picking on him in public places and stuff.
That's good.
You can't get done, can you, just for doing that?
I think impersonating a police officer.
Well, you probably did. There was no gain. I think you can't impersonate a police officer full stop, but I think they'd probably be lenient on him that he was, But let's face it, he's not going to be caught because why would anyone know? But it's not like his son's going to say it on a radio station, is it? And stitch him right up.
Is this something he did generally? Kind of a little bit of like vigilante work?
Just whatever. Him and his mate, just if they saw something going on, they go, "What can we do? What little scam can we do?" or whatever.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is brilliant. Right, okay, coming up, Knob News.
Smashing Pumpkins, Cherub Rock. That, of course, Rick, is available on their greatest hits.
Brilliant.
If you want.
I mean, that's how I rock. So
Yeah.
I know they. I'm very much the shape of a cherub as well.
Well,
now.
indeed.
Naked with a couple of
and a rosy big arse.
and a trumpet.
Yeah.
Do they have trumpets?
I don't know. I've just had an email here. Monkey news
Yeah.
from a listener. Monkey spotted holidaying in Cornwall. A chimp was spotted holidaying in Cornwall last week after befriending a family of 3. One onlooker said, "It was incredible. He dressed and behaved exactly like a human being. He even settled the hotel bill at the end of their stay. The only telltale sign was his lack of table manners and the incoherent babble when he opened his mouth." There we are. So,
What do you think of that, Karl?
that's the listeners, Karl. That's Joanne.
Amusing, articulate, accurate. She remembered exactly who's there and everything, setting in the bill. It's all there. So I mean, even though people think that you're slightly simian, slightly less than human on the evolutionary ladder, they do listen to you. So I mean, I don't know who's more stupid in the end, you or the listeners.
Well, you may recall, Rick, at the end of last week when Karl had to shoot off early, we issued a little request for listeners just to bombard Karl's email with just pointless emails that really weren't about anything, just to clog up his email for when he returned.
Yeah.
Rick, they sent them all to us.
Brilliant.
I mean, that's the kind of listeners that we've got. We've got reams here on our email of just junk.
I mean, it's like a Marx Brothers plot, isn't it? I mean,
It's
just
ludicrous.
listen.
Listen to what we say.
I got one, about a shaved cat. Well, that's not pointless. I'll be reading that later.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy.
That'll keep me going for a couple of weeks.
I'll be reading that later.
Did you get to the monkey sanctuary? Because this was the big thing. You were going down to Cornwall, you were going to visit the monkey sanctuary. I've never seen someone more excited. You had 2 days put aside for the monkey sanctuary.
I know.
How did it go, Monkey World?
We were on our way, right? I found like a little, in the little cottage that we had, right? It's like a little folder, you know, with little leaflets in saying if you're into mountains, you want to go here.
Yeah.
If you're into castles and that.
the
Little
castle
monkey
world.
on the leaflet, right? So I thought I'll be needing that. Took that out, made sure that's safe and
Yeah.
that, right? We get in the car, getting ready to go. My dad says, where is it? I look on the back. It's in a place called Low or something like that, right? Yeah. So, we're on our way. Can't believe me luck. It's going to be a great day and all that.
Yeah.
And then, start looking at the leaflet, right? And, noticed didn't have any chimps there.
Yeah, it's not Monkey World.
It wasn't a monkey world.
Well, what was it called then?
Something like,
Monkey Town.
yeah, it was just, it had like woolly monkeys in it. That's what
It had what?
Woolly monkeys.
What are woolly monkeys?
Those things, Johnny Vegas off the advert.
Right.
Loads of them. They're dumped now since ITV Digital
Yeah.
went under, so they just put them in a cage.
I don't
They're
understand.
woolly. They're like they're sort of like little fluffy little baboon type things. Woolly monkeys. I mean, it's not your chimp. It's not your classic chimpanzee.
So did the car screech to a halt?
It was like,
Yeah.
it was like the mission in Armageddon. I just said abort. We're on the way back.
So how far had you got before you bothered to read the leaflet?
Probably about 5 miles away
Right.
from where we were.
So what did you do with yourself? You must have been distraught.
we
Well,
went
they
to,
broke down and then they heard banjo music.
No, we went to a, sort of an amusement place.
Arcade.
I'd love to see you in that. What with putting those coins in, so it has to roll down and they go flat, and then an arm pushes
It
them.
was one of them.
Really?
But
I
I'd worked out
spent
it was
years
a
on that when I was little.
Well, there's a new one. I can't be bothered explaining it, but it's a con. We went to this place, right? My mum and dad had been there before, and they said, you'll love it. It's brilliant. It's got like a war bit in it.
A war bit, right?
Yeah, like, because they know I'm into tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll be loving that.
So, sorry, I didn't know you were into tanks.
No.
Well, they're alright.
Brilliant. It's gone from one of his childhood passions to, well, they're alright.
I know, yeah. Go on.
And, but it was awful. I mean, my mum and dad had been there before, and he said, no, you'll love it. But it was like a really miserable day.
Sure.
Right? All the rides and that were broke.
Yeah.
Broke!
It just reminds you of Manchester.
My dad just ended up, he was more interested, there was a really fat family there.
Well, presumably he was breaking into the machines, trying to scoop off the cash.
I like the fact that those poor fat family were going, why are those people looking at us?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to ride one?
No, but
we're not a ride.
They were massive, and he just like, look at the state of that. The whole family.
Yeah.
Just, fat.
Bloaters, yeah.
All right.
No,
down.
but because fat, there's no need for it, is there? And he was really like, oh god. And then he wanted to follow them into the House of Mirrors to see what they look like. But my mum had got bored. She went off to buy a little Snow White figure. She couldn't believe her luck. It was only $2.99.
Yeah.
She thought it was going to be really expensive.
Sure,
so she
she's
bought
classy
one of
lady.
them.
Yeah.
So she enjoyed that. And then my dad says, come on, we go in. It's rubbish, this.
What, the fat family wouldn't let him play with them?
So, he just said on the way home, he said, I can safely say that I never want to go there again before I die. So, that was that. And then we went home.
Why would he ever give you that information? In case it was like a secret birthday present. You go, oh god, what if they get me a trip to here? Or if he's in a coma and you go, I'll tell you what, bring him out of it.
That fat couple.
yeah.
By his bedside.
Yeah.
But Suzanne said she now realises why I am the way I am after spending like a week with them.
Well,
She
they
said-
told her that they dropped you on your head as a kid, or?
No, just like, the way they act and that.
Right, yeah.
No, they were saying things like, Suzanne, so, why is the moon out at night and the sun in the day? Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's 3 of them.
Suzanne, can you tie my shoelaces again?
It was the bit when my dad said, don't waste money on a coffin for him, just put him in a bin bag.
Your father said that? About himself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm glad you mentioned that, because
That is great.
that gives me an idea.
So's it, man. Look at Karl. I love that look at Karl. Karl is looking back and forth. You know when you sort of you go to a cat and it looks back and forth between two people. That's very much like Karl's looking at us now.
Or when, like, a child sees a midget or something in the street. They're just transfixed, aren't they? And the parents go, don't stare.
When we were pushing Ash, yesterday, our producer's in a wheelchair, and we were pushing him through the
He's not a
VC.
midget, we should make that
No, he's
clear.
not a little midget. He's not tall. But we were pushing him through the VC, and this little kid just came up and just stood in front of him and looked at him.
Yeah.
I just laughed.
It was funny. Do you do that? I imagine that you get caught staring at kids.
Yeah, do you go up to people with problems and go, Mummy, is that a monster?
Well, I was telling you one about when I used to go with my dad in the taxi.
Oh, yeah.
What
Tell us
happened?
this story.
Well,
Your father was a taxi driver?
my dad he had loads of jobs, which they did back then, and they don't do that anymore, do they, people? They don't sort
Have
of
a
do
variety of
loads
jobs?
stuff.
Sure.
But at one point, he had a black cab, and I used to go with him. Used to get a beer crate and put it in the front of the black cab, and sort of sit just next to the
comfortable.
meter. And anyway, we got this call, and like the guy on the end of the radio said, "Oh, you've got your son with you, haven't you?" So he said, "Yeah." So it's just like, we've got to pick up at number 11 Village Lane or whatever. And he said, "All right." And it was this woman. It was like a woman version of the Elephant Man.
Wow. The Elephant Woman.
Yeah, it looked like... it was really strange, because I was in the front of the cab, and when you're a kid, if something looks odd, you're a bit scared of it, aren't you?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Look, be alright." And we're driving towards her.
Look, don't worry, son, I've got loads of buns.
And just to
I think
give
I'll
you-
just throw one down the street if you run after
You're
it.
being mean, right?
I am a little bit,
So
yeah.
how old were you, 18?
No, I was about 12 or something like that. 11, 12. And as we got closer to her, it looked like she was holding, like, a bag of spuds on her shoulder.
For a snack.
Right.
And her head was all a bit mangled and messy and that. And my dad said, "Whatever you do, don't stare at her face."
Yeah.
And she got in the
Because you
back.
turn into stone.
She got in the back, and I had, like, the mirror, the driver's mirror thing, and sort of having a look, trying to work out. And he said, "Don't stare at her face." I couldn't work out where her face was. It was that weird.
Oh, God.
So I'm not sure you're from Manchester. I think you're from, like, Narnia or something.
Yeah, you got frog boys walking
yeah,
around.
the Lord
with
of the Rings.
That got, like, the claws of a lobster and the head of a toad.
Yeah.
And you got women getting in with spuds for heads. I mean, what
This is
sort
not
of, what
Manchester.
is
This is not the place you grew up. This is
Yeah.
mad.
Oh, you can't believe it in London, can you? You come down and you go, look, symmetry. It must be amazing.
It must be a thing to do with upbringing, though, mustn't it? And because again, do you know, I've said to you before, years ago when I was a kid and didn't have any worries, good-looking lad, you go through it a bit, have a few more worries, and you look knackered. Now back there's a lot more worries and stuff, so you get a lot more freaks. Whereas in London, everyone's like happy, aren't they?
I love the fact that stress can cause your fingers to fuse and your heads
Yeah.
to grow.
No, but if
She must have been really stressed to have a head like
Yeah, yeah. She was
Bag of sluts.
was she an accountant or something?
you know what I mean.
But what did she do? What did she say?
Where
when
was she
got
going,
in?
by the way?
She couldn't speak.
London Zoo, please.
I think she was going to like
To
a
the
pet
fair.
shop. Seriously, honest to God. On my mum's life, she was. Because at the end of the day, that's a good thing with animals. They don't judge you, do they?
She's not
She
an
was an
animal.
animal. She's a human
She's
being.
not actually an elephant.
No, but
You know the Elephant Man was not actually an elephant. You understand that? He's got no elephant genes in him at all.
No.
That was just a cruel name people gave him.
Yeah.
No, it's the name of the disease, isn't it? Elephantitis.
Look, so listen. So this woman, why was she going to a pet shop?
She was going to a pet shop. What, to find a husband?
Is this true?
No, it is true, yeah.
Oh,
But
God.
I'm not taking the mickey, because it must be really bad for
Of
you.
course it
But
is.
Karl, I
we
need to
haven't.
ask.
I'm going on to you today about cutting myself shaving.
Yeah.
I was going on about that. To think that she's probably not alive now, but to think,
But you're saying that you're going to say this is a worse problem than a little cut shaving, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
The
think you're
things
right.
that
Karl,
you worry about.
there's a couple of key questions I need to ask. One, if she couldn't talk,
Yeah.
how did she tell your father where to drive it? Did she have it
Probably
written on
got
a
some
note?
help
Did she
for that,
point
haven't
with her nose?
Yeah.
you? Right, this has got silly. Pick your song.
But and also, finally, where did you say she lived again?
It was like in a village, a little small village.
Right.
Just hidden out of the way.
All I'm saying is we could maybe get like some sort of coach, book some coaches, get a coach party up there to have a look at her.
And now
You can make some lemonade.
the offspring of a woman and some spuds. Please enter at your peril. Give me a shiny shilling.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of Teenage Fan Club song for the lovers here. We left it very late. We've been just, you know, rapping with Karl P here, and this is I Need Direction.
I mean, my dad, right? He can like put windows in his house.
Yeah.
Do plumbing.
He should. It's dark, isn't it? He's done that first of all. Right.
So he can do what? He's got a multitude of different
Yeah,
jobs.
he can do all sorts. Do you know what I mean? If there's a problem in my flat, I can call him up and say, you know, this isn't working. What should I do? And he'll say like,
Is that our brain surgeon?
he'll say, oh, fix it.
Sure. So what about Monsters Inc? What do you make of it?
It's alright. It is a kids' film. It sort of annoyed
Is it?
Okay.
I was having like.
what gave that away, do you think?
Could I just say also that I do not advocate the use of vices on friends' heads. It's dangerous. Do not squeeze your mate's head in a vice. That's just between me and Karl, and you know. And
Ricky Gervais is an experienced annoyer.
and he probably wouldn't let me do it, to be honest. I have to offer him an awful lot of money. Also, do not smoke. There's no point. And floss. I wish I'd flossed when I was a kid. Also, if you've got a bicycle or anything like that for Christmas, please wear the correct safety gear.
Whoa.
What?
Well, I got a bike as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And my dad, you know, I think the helmets used to come with them and what have you. I popped it on, went out on my bike, coming back into the garden. Dad sees me. He said, "Come here." I said, "What?" He said, "I never want to see you wearing that helmet again. You look ridiculous."
Karl, have we still got Monkey News?
We've got Monkey News coming up.
Now, you must be disappointed because you didn't make it to the Monkey Sanctuary, but you've still managed to scrape together Monkey News on your holiday.
Yeah.
That's
So I
impressive.
found some of that. We've got.
How do you get so many breaks and holidays? Because you went away with Suzanne's parents. You've just been away with your parents. That's a couple of weeks, 10 days. So that's probably about 3 weeks in all. You had that. You went to Manchester. You had that day off because your trousers were wet. I mean, and I suppose because you've only got one job, and you know I've got a lot more. This is just one of my jobs. But I mean, don't you ever count your blessings? Go, God, thank God, I can have time off. I don't work too hard. You know, I'm not stressed too much.
No. It's just all to do with when you do work, do a lot. So I get a lot done.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm always doing stuff. I mean, even though when I was in Cornwall, right, I'm sat there on the grass.
Oh, I'd love to just sit on the grass.
Yeah, you're too busy.
Chill out a little bit. I know, yeah, well, you know.
Me dad and Suzanne are playing crib, right? I'd sort of fallen out with him at
Your
that
dad
point.
and Suzanne are playing
Why did you
crib.
fallen
Because
out
you do
with
live
who?
in the 1940s.
Yeah, why did you fallen out?
Because with crib, have you ever played crib?
Yeah,
Right, you've got to be pretty good at maths.
sure.
You've got to make your cards add up to 15 and all
Well,
that.
yeah, I was just gonna correct you on you've got to be good at maths. Yeah. What, algebra, quantum physics, what?
No, just adding up.
Adding up to 15. Brilliant.
I mean,
You can almost do it on your fingers.
my dad's,
You could in Cornwall.
Yeah.
but my dad's really good at maths, and like he said, how many have you got? And he always counts his, and it's like 15, 2, 15, 4, 15, 6, 3 for your at, 1, and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He adds it up really
One
quick.
for his knob.
Right, so I was like, right, hang on a minute. And he goes, no, what do you mean, hang on? I don't know, what have you got? He says, oh, forget it. I said, this isn't fun if you're going to start getting all arsey with me.
Sure.
So,
Forget it! I love it! But I don't know him, but I'm sure he's just winding you up. His victory is you going, forget it, I'm not playing.
throughout my life so far, I've never planned for anything, right? It's just always happened.
Yeah.
The time, you know what I mean, being in plays at school, never planned it, but when I did it, I went down a storm.
It was a
that sort of
triumph,
thing.
yeah, we all remember that.
So,
As I remember, you did Little Donkey.
did Little Donkey, yeah.
And then later, someone was filming at the back. Was it your dad's mate?
My dad's mate.
Yeah. And on the camcorder, he listened to it back, watched him playing it. His dad says, just off camera, what does he say?
I don't want to say it because I'm in charge of the show and I'd be irresponsible.
He looks like a right twat.
So,
And so he gets home, listening, watching that, and then here's his dad just off camera go, he looks like a right twat.
yeah, alright, yeah.
What are you worried about? Your dad saying that
Sorry,
on the
can I
word.
just interject? Because I'm really worried about this idea of Karl being on MTV. Because the problem is that, you know, let's be honest, Rick. I mean, we're getting by the skin of our teeth, aren't we? Really, it's
Yeah.
only Karl that's keeping this afloat.
Yeah.
And if he gets on MTV and the world sort of gets a sense of him and they understand him, and he won't be ours anymore. We won't be able to control him. It'll be out there. It'll be in the
Well,
public domain.
that's the thing. No, that's the thing. That's the terrible thing, though, isn't it? It's like Karl is my pet, but I realise I've got to release him into the wild. And you know, because I love him, I know he's got to go free.
Sure.
But I wanna.
It's like Kez. Maybe someone will beat him to death, and we won't have to worry.
I'll have you on though. I'll have you on as a guest. Which gets me on to something we've got coming up today.
Oh yeah, he's got a new idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know, like, I've talked about ghosts, and we had that good discussion the other week walking to Piccadilly Circus Station, and I was telling you about ghosts, and you were saying, Karl, don't be an idiot, and all that. Spoke to a woman in the week, done a little interview with
You've
her.
done a little interview.
Done a little interview, 2 minutes or so, with a woman who's got ghosts in her house. So,
I look forward to hearing that later. That sounds brilliant.
coming up later.
Well, I'm going to play a classic tune now. I've just gone straight for it. I've gone for the jugular. This is Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. Karl's also nervous. We had a bit of shock last week, didn't you?
Just a little bit.
His dad tuned in.
To the show.
Yeah. And Karl's never told him that he actually speaks on the show. He just says, I just press the buttons, right? He's kept him from it. You used to do radio before and you never told him, did you? It's because the little donkey incident.
Yeah.
When he went along, so
Was that the twat incident?
yeah. And so he's never told him since, but they've promised not to listen, haven't they?
Well, my mum said to me, don't worry, don't be put off this week, because, you know, I've told him he can't listen, but I hear my dad in the background kinda going, bollocks. So, he might be listening. So that's extra pressure.
Yeah.
Plus a camera crew in.
I know. You don't like it, do you?
This is good training for MTV, because then he can watch you on TV. I mean, what's he going to make of that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he know you're bald?
Yeah.
You don't keep your hat on when you're with him and say, oh no, I'll just press the buttons.
No, it's just, you know, it's like when I was in any plays, I didn't tell him.
No.
Any sort of parents' evening, I never gave him the note.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did the teachers think? You were just an orphan?
No, just on an off chance. My mate's dad spoke to me dad once, I think, and sort of said, oh, you going to school to see how, you know, your kid's doing? Is that what you're talking about? He said, there's a parents' evening, so he went
said, what kid?
He went to one, and that's when Mrs. Matthews said I'd never be a high flyer.
How wrong was she? Yeah. I think we should call Mrs. Matthews and make her eat her words.
Well.
She'd turn on to MTV when, I don't know, like their slamming session.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go, that's young Pilkington. He's bald, but it's definitely him.
I recognise that woolly hat.
yeah. Can Karl do something to prove you are on live and not recorded? I'm sure that will tax his little bald head to bursting point.
What's his name?
Jason.
How can you prove that we're live on air?
Come on, how could you prove that we're live on air?
Happy Christmas Eve, Jason.
No, we could have recorded this a week ago.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be Christmas Eve.
No, but...
Happy Christmas Eve, isn't it?
No, but we'd have recorded
Karl,
it and
think!
Alright, it's nearly 11:45.
Yeah, but we could have started with the clock knowing that we were going to record it as live. We could have done this last Wednesday.
Alright. It's Radio 2, it's a nice day out there, sun's out.
Well, that's a guess. And do you think... Oh, it is sunny. Yeah, it is sunny,
but
yeah.
Generally it's
but hold on, wait a minute. We're in London. Someone listening in Manchester, it might be raining.
It probably is raining.
Look, he can't work out how to make sure it's live. Look at him looking up in the sky. Look at him. His head is gonna burst. There's a little bit of blood coming from his ear. How can we prove we're live?
My mum's budgie died last night.
But
Don't laugh about it. Don't laugh.
Only your mum that can confirm that.
Yeah. No one knows whether your budgie died or not. Was he pictured holding a copy of today's paper? What are you talking about, Karl?
I can't prove anything then.
You're so right.
Next question.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, God.
You see, sex on films and all that, right? When I was growing up, I'd be watching... No, I'm just saying an example of this, really, right? When I was growing up as a kid and I'd be, you know, watching films with my dad, right? He'd really be enjoying a film, right? And then a sex scene would happen.
Right.
And he'd go...
On film? Or just behind you?
In the film, a sex scene would happen.
Your brother up to his old tricks again.
And he'd get up and go make a cup of tea. Right?
Typhoon? that he'd stolen from some sort of telephone box.
And like, even recently, he thinks it ruins a film. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for it to happen, is there? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes it's warranted. If the film itself is
Yeah, no, some
about-
films it isn't though. Some films it
of course,
isn't.
some films it's arbitrary.
I think the films that him and his dad watched together on Channel 5.
Yeah.
Probably not. Is it only on Channel 5
but
in
do
your
you not-
house?
But let's put it, if you're watching, I don't know, a late night, Friday night,
From
erotic thriller.
1983.
Yeah, Illegal Briefs. A beautiful lawyer has to defend a man who may be a killer. She falls in love with him, but does she know a real man?
Oh dear.
You know what I mean, though.
Lest you forget, of course, that I
Love Heat. With the bloke that is now in. Go on.
of course, that I, according to the Internet Movie Database, I once appeared in one of those films, in the film Killer Image, a Canadian film, I believe, from 1989. According to that computer,
It's all wrong,
website.
isn't it?
It's all wrong.
It's
completely
all wrong.
Of course it is. Yeah. Apparently, I was in that, and I played the role of Kirk.
Was it a porn thing?
No. I think it's just an erotic thriller.
Oh, right.
That I supposedly.
You only
was
had a
in.
very small part though, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need to go that far. Say, like in this Jesus program, right?
Film.
What's it called?
The Last Temptation of
He's
Christ.
just like talking. You know what? What's his name? Is it Ralph in The Simpsons?
Yes.
I drawed a kitty cat. It's like talking to that.
Yeah.
No, but right, this temptation thing, right?
Do you know, often we don't get that many complaints on this show. We don't get very many complaints. And I think that's either because there's no listeners, or B, it's because most people agree with Karl, and that
I
terrifies
know.
me.
Or they let him off because it's like, you can plead insanity, you can go mental and
Yeah.
kill a few people, but they go, oh, he's a bit backward.
No, but was it because, like, they're saying that he was having it away? Or is it because you saw it? What got the complaints?
The complaint was the very suggestion that Christ
It was
himself would be
a
having
blasphemous
sex.
thing, not the fact that you saw an actor's knob.
So what about if they just cut it down a bit and you like, saw the little stable door closing?
It wasn't the baby Jesus having sex. It was the grown man.
The stable door shutting!
No, but do you know
It
what
was
they
the
do?
nativity scene.
Ah, that is brilliant. That
but
is.
then-
The wise men saying, I can't believe we brought myrrh, we should have brought condoms.
No, yeah. There's 2 for 1 offering,
Yeah, I
Boots.
don't know what we were thinking. With
Oh.
frankincense.
It's just that it's always awful.
Should we
isn't it?
apologise now to the Christian church as
yeah.
well?
So
Sorry
we-
to the little Chinese fellas, little Welsh fellas, and the little Christian
We
fellas.
haven't said anything wrong.
No.
It's like, you see, when I was growing up,
Stable door. I love the idea that in Karl's world, he was born in a stable, just thought, well, I
Yeah.
love this place.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay here the rest of my days.
This is good here. Oh, brilliant.
but when I was watching telly with my mum and dad, I mean, it still happens now, right? My dad will sort of go, oh, ruined. Good film ruined, right?
Yeah.
If some sex scene happens.
But why doesn't he
But
just
what are we
ignore
talking
it?
about sex scene? Are we talking about kissing, or are we talking about penetration and looking at the camera?
No,
Going,
just-
are you enjoying this, Pilkingtons? What are we talking about? What is sort of extreme levels are we talking about?
Right, last time I was down there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black is a terrible film.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was it's a good film, and then you know it's going to happen because like the music comes in. Brad Pitt's keeping quiet. A woman's eyeing him up.
Sure.
So my mum,
I love that!
my mum's worked it out already, and she's going. Anything on the other side, love?
She knows. She
She
knows.
knows it's something's.
And so you can be enjoying a film and you can be 1 hour and 10 in, and then some spidey senses of one of them can go, should we turn it over? And the other one goes, yeah, all right.
Are you sure it's not them protecting you from scenes of sex? So that what they're thinking is, what if Karl gets the idea to have sex?
Yeah.
That could lead to procreation. We don't want any more like him.
Yeah.
We've got to end the line here.
You sure it's not the doctor? Keep calling out going, you are keeping away from
exactly.
women, aren't you?
He must never find out.
Are you
how
sure
it's
they're not
done.
embarrassed because they're watching a sex scene with their son?
It happens every time, right? There's 2 things that my mum does, right? It's that if there's sex scene on the telly, she'll go, anything on the other side, love? And the other thing she always says, if ever there's anything on the telly with Elvis in it,
Yeah.
she goes, oh, I like him, right? And we all know, we sat there, we know what she's going to say next.
Yeah.
So you don't even bother saying why, right? And she goes, he likes fat, ugly people.
He what?
He liked fat, ugly people. He didn't always go for, like, the good-looking fans in the crowd.
What Elvis did?
Yeah.
Right.
That was always the thing, and
I'm
like-
sorry, no, hold on. I don't know what we're doing now with our lives, Steve. Right, wait a minute, right. So, your mum says 2 things, right? She either says...
Is there anything else on the
is there
other
anything
side?
else, or I like Elvis. There's a pause, because you know what she's going to say next. She says, he liked fat, ugly people. How often does this occur?
Well, because they've got, like, you know, Sky, there's a lot of those channels on. They're like the music channels. So Elvis always comes on. There's either an Elvis film, there's, like, you know, a classic hit by him on...
And she'll go, I like Elvis, he likes fat, ugly people. And what do you mean he liked fat, ugly people?
Is she a fat, ugly person?
Because he's that special Vegas show, isn't he, where he's dancing about, right? And he's got loads of scarves around his neck.
Towels.
Yeah. And, like, he always hands them down to the fat, ugly ones. Right. And I always say it's because they're the fat, you know, they've got a sweaty face because they can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know what world they live in!
I don't know how we've gone to this subject.
What sort of world are you got when you're watching his face? And what do you mean fat, ugly ones? You mean they're in the front, they're sweating a lot because they're a bit chubby?
So she thinks, you know, is giving them a towel because it's
But
like...
he's really going, wipe your face, you're putting me off, you fat cow. Stop sweating near me.
There's another one.
What?
So, hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We haven't slagged off hairy Chinese kids. We slagged off Chinese. We didn't slag anyone off. We just said they really haven't got a town as such, and they wear shoes. What did we say?
Yeah, little wooden shoes.
And what the
I just don't know how we got onto Elvis and big fat ugly women. I don't know I don't know how we sidestepped from the Last Temptation of Christ.
Did you see that fat Girls and Feeders
Go
programme?
on a minute.
Eh?
What's Tom Petty first?
Oh, brilliant! It's a great song. Breakdown.
How many
Tom
other
Petty.
radio shows have talked about Last Temptation of Christ, Chinatown,
Yeah.
fat ugly women?
More
Yeah.
than 60 minutes.
Exactly. Incredible. Sony Award winning.
You gave us the devastating news last week that just before Christmas, your mum's budgie died. How was Christmas in your household? Was it?
Little bit down. Little bit down, you know, with any death, it's always sad, isn't it, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly budgie.
Well, I mean, how long she had it? Probably lasted about 8 years or something, which is pretty good, isn't it, for a budgie?
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Came unexpected. He wasn't ill.
Right.
And I spoke to her the other day, and I said, you know, how's it going? Because on Christmas Day she was down.
Yeah.
Been calling her up every day. And I spoke to her the other day and said, you know, how are things? And she said, well, the other bird that's in the cage, she's got some sort of parrot that's in the same cage as it.
Right.
It's been a bit down.
Sure.
It's missing its mate. So what she did, she'd kept a few feathers from the budgie that died, right? She got a rock, a couple of sandwich fasteners, stuck the feathers on the rock. The other bird's happy now.
Wow.
Now I know that your mother explains everything.
And if you ever die, we just get a tennis ball, stick it on the end of a broom, she'll be happy. Me mam called me to ask me to fuck me, you're right. Look, that should be. Me mam called me to ask me to look in some of the magazine shops in London for a magazine that she can't find. It's called UFO Data. I said, I ain't heard of it. She said she's seen an advert for it in one of her ghost magazines.
I love the fact that she can't even find the magazine about unidentified flying objects.
Yeah. So we get a clue
She
there.
thinks, I think I saw something, but I don't know whether it was a magazine or not.
So we get a clue there as to why you give any credence to this crap.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, I mean...
Mama Pilkington's into the same shit.
There's a lot of space out there, isn't there?
She said that this magazine has got news story about how Aldrin, brackets astronaut, has got some evidence that aliens exist.
Yeah.
I told her that I found out today that the days are about 36 minutes longer on Mars. We chatted about how this is how they are more advanced than us. Do you mean the Martians?
Yeah, if they've got a longer day, that's more time that they're awake, working on stuff.
Right, yeah, we know that makes no difference at all.
No, it does.
Think about it. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Look, think about it. 6 o'clock here,
Yeah.
people are going, see you tomorrow, I'm going home. They'll be going, oh, another half hour. They've got a longer day. Productive.
And that's why they're able to fly.
That's why they're whizzing around. It adds up, doesn't it, over the years?
Christ almighty, what drivel!
Suzanne got in from work at 11:30. I told her about the UFOs in Mars. She said she's too tired to chat. I said, does it mean aliens will be more tired than us, or do they get more sleep? I got no answer. I love it when
It
Suzanne
scares
goes in.
her.
She never indulges
No,
you.
it
does she?
scares her. Anything with ghosts and UFOs, she sort of...
It doesn't
ignores
scare her,
does
it bores
scare
her.
No, it freaks her out. Scares her.
Okay. I'm knackered today, and the face feels dry and spotty. Oh God, what's wrong
Oh,
with
it starts off moaning. The first thing he does is start moaning. He wakes up and goes, oh, fuck me, I didn't die. Oh, God.
I'm knackered today and my face feels dry and spotty. I think it's the change in water since being away. Or it could be all the, it could be all the Madeira cake I had yesterday.
I'm gonna burst.
What's the Madeira cake? The Madeira cake dries you out, does it?
Well, it's just quite fattening, innit? But I like it. It's one of my little pleasures.
Oh, God
Suzanne
almighty.
I went for a wander about to try and find the UFO data magazine for my mum. I didn't know which category to look under. There were too many magazines. I noticed how on the rude magazines, the women are being pretty rude on the cover, but on the gay magazines, it's just a fella smiling, showing a bit of arse. I don't know why gay blokes would buy it. Blokes have got their own knob to look at if they like knobs. Why were you looking at the gay magazine?
No, I wasn't. It's just.
Oh, you were?
No, I
You
noticed
studied them.
Yeah, because I was looking for UFO data. I don't know where they put it.
I don't think you find evidence of other worlds down men's pants. Yeah, I don't think you want to boldly go where no man has ever gone before, Karl.
I had no luck trying to find the UFO data magazine. I will try some other shops. He writes UFO data magazine every time. He can just put UFO mag, but
No, but it
you want to
reminds
be
me.
right. You want to be specific.
If I write stuff down, it means that I remember it more.
Sure.
So, still looking for it.
Are you going for a walk?